What is going on, Casually FC? Welcome to your match review for the Battle of the Bridge, the London derby that everyone was waiting for. Chelsea won, Arsenal won. I'm accompanied by Real Chris and Scott. I am your host, Marshall DBDX, and you know what? We're gonna break down this game and talk about a lot of things, some positives, good amount of negatives, I'm sure. Very mixed bag for this one, to be honest. But before we do, as always, guys, smash up the like if you haven't done so already. Hit the subscribe so you're helping out the community by joining us here at Casually FC and growing the subscriptions. We're trying to eventually get to 5K, so we're well on our way there. And yeah, I mean, as per usual, let's just do this quick summary of the match. Pretty predictable starting lineup. I think we didn't expect to see Malo Gusto play another game after the Man United performance, but he ended up playing, and Reece James stayed on the bench for a large majority of today's game. Regardless, that lineup could have gotten a result today, but failed to do so. I think the first half, we looked pretty decent, had chances. Malo Gusto, brilliant chance created by Pedro Neto, crosses it right to his head. He just needs to put it behind the net and heads it over the crossbar, unfortunately for him. Cole Palmer with a quiet game, had some moments here or there, but very disappointing from him for his standard. Second half, Gabriel Martinelli. Stupid defensive mistake, giving him all the space in the world to run at Robert Sanchez's near post. And Robert Sanchez, we all knew was going to happen at some point. How much of the blame we want to put on him, we will discuss. But to get beaten at your near posts the way you did, it just can't happen. It can't happen at Chelsea Football Club. This guy is not good enough for Chelsea Football Club. We need to really figure out this goalkeeper situation, whether it be January or the latest the summer. 10 minutes later, though, Chelsea managed to string a good passage of play. Enzo Fernandez involved, sees Pedro Neto make a run, gives it to Pedro. Pedro finds the gap in the Arsenal defense, and brilliant laces shot on the ground. Wide post or far post, I guess, for him. Gets past Raya. It's a 1-1 game. And yeah, I mean, there was some chances for Arsenal at the end. We had a few chances as well. I think decision-making going forward was very poor today. But we'll start with Scott. Scott, overall, 1-1 draw at Stamford Bridge. We go into international break like that. Arsenal obviously needed a win, but they didn't get it. So how are you feeling after today's match?
I'm annoyed, to be honest. I think we did enough to win. I think we were the better team across the whole of the game. I think Arsenal didn't really do anything. I think they created next to nothing, to be honest. Like, they had obviously the Havertz one that's offside. They had the Trossard one, the first one that was offside. The goal, obviously. And then the Trossard one at the end. Like, outside of that, and two of those I mentioned were offside, they created nothing. Like, they weren't a threat at all in any way. Even defensively, I didn't think they were decent, but I thought a lot of their good defending was because we fucked up the last bit. And yeah, like, I feel like we should have won, and so I'm pissed off at the end, like, that we didn't win. I'm pissed off by the performances of some players as well, just because it's either a continuation of what we've seen the whole season, or it's just a weird dip when we don't need, like, at the wrong time. And yeah, and ultimately I put some of the blame of the result on the manager as well.
Yeah, for sure. We have to talk about Maresca today.
Continued mistakes with team selection, letting us down, particularly in goal and at right back. Substitutions today were poor in terms of timing. The right players came on, but just horrible timing, especially the last two. And yeah, and just again, it's just more mistakes defensively. Yeah, it's just more mistakes defensively. Like, big up Bugray, he was immense today.
Definitely.
Yeah, he was definitely immense.
He was immense. But then, yeah, like, and Caicedo and Neto as well. And I'm glad Neto's starting to show what he can do on both sides as well. Oh, he stunk, by the way.
Because of Cucurella.
Yeah. Thanks. But yeah, I thought Neto is coming into his own a little bit, showing he can play on both sides as well, which is nice. But yeah, it's tough. It's a tough one to take. I'll be honest. As I said, sooner or later we got to start winning some of these games. So we can't just be saying, "Oh,
100%.
we're doing well. It's better than last season." This, that, and the other bullshit. Like sooner or later we got to start winning these games.
100%. I mean, Chris, after United, me personally speaking for myself, right? After the United game, I think a switch went off in my head that told me, you know what, we're not there yet. We're gonna struggle against these top 6 sides.
When do you mean? What do you mean we're not there yet? Like title contenders? Because I felt like we kind of
definitely not as title contenders. Like we're definitely not in there for title contenders. We might be in third, but when you look at the points gap, 19 points versus where's
Man City has 23, and
so that's
we're 4 points behind.
4 points behind, and we know they're going to step up, right?
We're
in a situation, Chris, where we have a fully fit squad. I think we might be the only Premier League team with an actually fully fit squad. Okay, maybe
I give credit to
Enzo
so and the medical staff for that though, because the way he's been rotating, I know it's off.
For sure. I mean, we'll definitely talk more on that too, because I feel like there's some rotation that is now questionable, right? But
sometimes
I think, when you look at that, we're mostly fit minus one player. And we can't get these results against players that just came back from being out for so long. You look at Declan Rice today playing with a broken toe or whatever. Martin Odegaard, first match. He had moments though, and you know what? He created that assist for the goal. Oh no! I was talking about Odegaard.
I thought Odegaard was actually pretty good today.
Rice was done.
Odegaard was good for his first game, but like I say today, I think it's just a very typical draw today.
But again, we had the advantage. You know what I'm trying to say, Chris? And when we have the advantage and we can't beat these teams, it doesn't convince me that we're in a title charge.
I look at this Arsenal team as a well-gelled, oiled, somewhat machine where they've been competing for the league for the last 3-4 years, and same manager for the last 3-4 years, same team almost last 2 years at least. Anyway, let's say that. So I don't know if there's advantage because this Chelsea team, new manager, new team again, right? We're still building it. We're not building phase. So I think it's I still see by your point, by the way. We don't have any injuries and all that. And we should have won it. I'm annoyed we didn't win it anyway today because we had chances in there, like Scott said. We should have won. We could have won it. If Cole Palmer saw Jackson making that run, I believe Jackson puts that in. I believe he does. The way Jackson's played this season, Jackson's been putting his one-on-ones a lot more in compared to last season. So Cole Palmer, I will say he stunk the pitch up today. This is probably his worst performance.
The
season.
Let's definitely discuss that because
I do want to talk as well. Who I thought was my three standouts. Obviously, I thought Neto as well. I was gonna say Neto again. He was brilliant today. Again, he played from the not right. He played on the left pretty well. Not pretty well, really good. He played in the middle, amazing. Played on the right. So I feel like he can just play anywhere. It don't matter. I thought also Caicedo today as well. They're deafening. The silence is very deafening with Caicedo now. No one's shitting on his price. No one's shitting on Caicedo because Caicedo's shut him all up.
Yeah, he's performing. Exactly.
This season, he's the best midfielder in the league. Like Rodri, he's been injured. Rodri's gonna be out all season, so the way Caicedo's playing, he's gonna be the best midfielder of the season for sure. And Cucurella as well. I would say Cucurella's man of the match because he kept, like you showed earlier, he nullified Saka. Saka did nothing today. Yeah. Saka created nothing. He took no shots. He created no big chances. I couldn't think what Saka did. He couldn't do anything today. And that's why Arsenal was very quiet because he kept Saka very quiet. And Saka is their best forward for sure. Because Martinelli, he's not that good. He got a lucky goal. He got a goal near post to Sanchez, where Sanchez is just Sanchez. He gives you a goal to anyone. Kai Havertz was shit. He shushed us and got told to hold that. But yeah, Gusto as well. I also say Gusto was poor again, and I don't understand why the manager keeps picking him. Maybe it's tactical reasons, but he isn't really doing what Enzo Maresca wants to do. Surely, because he's just he's mucking up the passes a lot of times, and I can't see why Enzo wants that. But yeah, I mean, there's a frustration performance, but I do like where Chelsea are on the table, though. I like we're in third place. We got an easy run now. We got Leicester. We got Aston Villa. We got a fair few small games up coming. We only got like maybe Man City and Tottenham are the only big games in like 8 games or something. So it's looking good. I still think I'm not like that annoyed because I think if we get our results against the smaller teams, then we're maybe comfortable in top 4 in January. We maybe are.
But that's the thing, right? Like, okay, we'll start off with looking at the league table. Like, yeah, you went all over the place, but I got you. We'll start off with the league table. Obviously, one of the positives we can take from this is that because of results around the Premier League, we have now shifted up to 3rd place on goal difference. And this is kind of why we were early in the season kind of getting frustrated with the fact that we didn't win these games by bigger margins. At least some of us were, because we knew goal difference was going to be a factor. And boy, is it a factor right now. Let me pull up the table real quick. Let's see, right here. So we're at 19 points, 23 Man City, but Arsenal at 19 points, Nottingham Forest at 19 points, Brighton at 19 points. So we have 3rd on goal difference, right? Which is,
but I will say
good, I guess. But hold on.
Yeah.
Leicester. Let's say, for example, Leicester. If by some miracle, Leicester, they're 15th.
Oh, I thought it was lower than that. Jesus.
Jesus Christ, Crystal Palace. Okay, if by some miracle, Leicester, I shouldn't say miracle. This is Chelsea Football Club after all. We drop points, 1-1, and then Arsenal win. We're 20 points. Arsenal get 22. Nottingham Forest get a win, 22. Brighton get another win, 22. Then all of a sudden we're looking at 6th place. And it could even get worse because Fulham, 18. Newcastle, 18. Aston Villa, 18. Tottenham, 16. It's really close down the board.
I will say Aston Villa's not the greatest form either right now. They're losing and drawing most of the games.
They're not. And that's our game after Leicester, I believe.
We're just drawing most of us right now. But we've had the hardest run out of any team in the league right now.
3rd hardest run, I believe. Of the big 6, I think. I think statistically, you're not incorrect in saying that. But what I'm trying to get at is that I think what I'm trying to get at is, I think you remember this. Scott, you probably remember this too. When we talked about this run of games after international break, I believe most of us said we would be pretty happy with 7 points. Meaning a win against Newcastle, a win against United, like those 6 points guaranteed already, and a draw between either Liverpool or Arsenal. I think Nottingham Forest were in that mix too. And so
we dropped points against Nottingham Forest as well.
We did.
That's the only one I'm really annoyed about. It's the Nottingham Forest game. I know they've been doing well this season, but as I
Nottingham Forest are a better team than Arsenal.
They are. Okay, so we had Liverpool, Chelsea, United, Arsenal. So we would have been happy with 7 points there. A draw between Liverpool or Arsenal, because thinking about where we are as a team versus them, like you said, Chris. Instead, we lost to Liverpool. We beat Newcastle. We got 3 points there. We dropped points against United, 4, and we dropped points again against Arsenal, 5 points. So, Scott, we'll go with you. How do you feel? 5 points out of what we were hoping to be 7, and out of an expected or a possible 12. I mean, disappointing or lucky we came out with that many?
No, I think my annoyance for the game today doesn't discount the overall in terms of where we are, because we're still 3rd. I know it's on goal difference, but even so, we're 3rd. That's about where we wanted to be come the end of the season. I think it's been good so far. There's obviously been improvements we could have made, but from a form perspective and a positioning perspective, it's been very successful so far this season. I don't think anyone can say otherwise. And I think if you do try and say otherwise, you're just being an idiot, straight up. And obviously we've still got a decently easy run. Every game between now and between Leicester and Ipswich, which I think is on Boxing Day, I'm expecting maximum points. I'll take 1 draw, which is potentially against Villa or Everton because it's away and we just for whatever reason, they're a bogey team for us, or that's a bogey ground for us, I should say. Outside of that, we should win every other game. We always beat Tottenham. I don't care. And then we play Leicester, Ipswich, Fulham. Who else? Southampton. We should be getting wins in like basically all those games. But yeah, and so like I think if from that perspective, it's fine, and like I'm happy where we're at. It's just a couple of things like we need to improve upon from like just a performance perspective, not even a performance perspective, right? Because I think most of our performances this season have been really good. Like I'd say the only bad performances we've had this season have been the United game.
Yeah.
This wasn't a bad performance, I don't think. I thought this was a good performance. We just didn't capitalize. It's similar to like I'd say it's similar to like the Forest game in a way, where it's like we created chances, like we just couldn't finish. Again, like we had enough chances to win that game, comfortably enough chances to win that game, and we just didn't finish our chances, or messed up the final pass or whatever. But yeah, outside of United, I'd say the first half against Bournemouth was awful, and the second half against Palace. Outside of that, I can't remember another really bad, like really poor performance this season.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree. I feel like for the most part, what you're saying is right. Let me ask this, open this up to the panel too as well. Do any of you guys think that today Maresca played for a draw because the math was in his favor? Third place.
No. I think my big, apart from the goalkeeper, which we'll probably talk about a bit later, but
I can't wait to talk about him.
my biggest gripe is I think he should have, and it's not, I didn't think they were playing shit, I just thought they were taken out of the game by some good tactics by Arsenal. I think he should have taken Palmer and Jackson off. And I can't believe I'm saying this. Bring Nkunku, it's fine, and try João Felix or something like that. Just try something different on there, because I really don't see the point of bringing Nkunku on in the 87th minute. I just don't. To try and get into the flow of the game, the rhythm of the game is going to take a few minutes and stuff like that. And I maybe I would have freshened it up a bit that way, but I don't think he was playing for the draw. No, I don't know where this thing has come from. That like last two games, he's like playing for a draw. I just don't see that. We weren't playing for the draw at all. It was just a game that I thought was the draw was a fair result in the end, in my opinion. But we gifted them a goal. That was the thing. So, but no, I don't think he's playing for a draw. I think that's just he did play for a draw, but did prioritize not losing. Oh, he didn't. I think he meant he didn't play for a draw. Yeah, yes, really. But yeah, you can prioritize not losing. That's absolutely fine. But I don't think his subs, even how late they were, said to me that he was playing for a draw. Do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah. It's not like Pochettino bringing in like center backs and stuff. Like
it's not. We're taking off like against Man City away, taking off like outlets to try and get a 1-0 win. And stuff like
or the Liverpool game. I remember that one as well.
Of course. Yeah. I'll be honest. I don't even think he didn't prioritize not losing, because like I look at the two managers today, and Arteta, you can see, was a guy who was prioritizing not losing. You could tell that by the way they set up against us, the way they played. Like their entire tactic the whole game was just to sit deep and try and hit on the counter, and just try and not concede stupid goals, which they should have. Like they've not conceded stupid goals, but they should have conceded goals. Like that was a game that Arsenal came to not play football, and that's the way they've been the whole season. Whereas Maresca, like my only issues with Maresca today, outside of obviously the goalkeeper again and the right back, was just subs. Like everything else we did on the pitch was good. It was literally just a case of like, if Palmer takes a proper touch in the penalty box from that Jackson pass, he scores. I put my house on him scoring that chance. If Gusto just decided to look at the ball, we score, we're 1-0 up. Again with Fofana at the back post. I know it's a bit of a difficult chance because he's challenging, but I'm sorry. I'm asking anyone. Outside of Robert Sanchez, I'm asking anyone to score that chance. Same with Gusto. So it's like, if you score those three chances, that's 4-1.
Yeah. I also think that I think he probably would have made the sub anyway, but I think when he made the sub for Lavia for Enzo, I think his tactics then changed from, we're going to concede much more in midfield, we're going to try and play on the counter, which we tried to do, because we knew that we were going to concede the middle because they bought Marino on and stuff like that. They were going to have more of it. And we defended well I thought actually both. I thought Gusto defensively was good. Offensively, he's just not that good at all. But I thought that was the tactics that would change because he brought Mudryk on obviously for pace and moved Neto to the right, which he needs to start playing more Neto on the right. Madureki's had his opportunities. Now he needs some time on the bench. But yeah, other than that, tactics changed during the game. It's pure and simple. We tried to play our part in there, like he says. It's little bits here and there, sliding door moments all over the place. Like you say, I'm sorry, Gusto should be scoring. That's 1 yard out. Goalkeeper's nowhere near that ball for that cross. That should be 1-0. I don't care if you're a right back, centre back, or a tea lady. That should be headed in 1-0 to Chelsea, and it's a different story altogether. But it's just one of those things. But to say, going back to full circle, did he play for a draw? No, don't believe he's ever played for a draw. No, you might do subs that consolidate the position they're in right now, like if we're winning 1-0 or something like that. That's totally different. So.
Yeah.
I'd argue, sorry to interrupt, Marshall, I'd argue the subs that he made, especially the first two, like those are attacking subs. Like he took off a winger for a winger, and he took off a more offensive midfielder for a defensive midfielder. That's an attacking sub.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But, okay, devil's advocate. I know, Andrew's favorite word. I think this is going to segue us into the next thing I really wanted to bring up, which everyone's going to talk about, rivals are going to talk about, and it's Cole Palmer. Today's performance, at least for his standard, poor. And I think a lot of the poor performance doesn't come from Palmer himself. So I don't fully blame Palmer, right? The ability is there, but today was the decision making. And then for me, that one thing that confusing, maybe you guys see it differently. Maybe you guys can explain to me why you think this is going on. The shift to him more on the left is really bizarre to me. We saw in the second half, he was still free roaming, still doing a 10 role, but he was more on the left-hand side than he was the right-hand side.
Well, yeah, I got an explanation for that.
Okay.
Cucurella was doing a man-marking job on Saka. That's why. So Cucurella, if you notice, Cucurella didn't get much up the pitch in either side, either half.
No.
Because he had Saka there, and he had so much weight in his pockets from when Saka was in them. He couldn't really move up the pitch down. So that's what it was. So
yeah,
so we needed a bit of more outlet there. So Cole went over that side. Otherwise, I think like if we were playing Southampton, you wouldn't see Cole on the left hand side because Cucurella would be fine there. That's my opinion anyway. I don't know if anyone's got anything different. But the thing is, with Cole, I think he was. This is a weird thing to say because he's such a naturally gifted footballer. I think he was trying too hard, especially in the first half.
You know what? We said that on the Discord too. It felt that way.
I think he was overthinking. There was the free kicks that hit the wall. Wasn't even. It's the free kick that was actually just before those free kicks where he tried to hit it. It was further out. It was on the left hand side. We tried to catch Cole out and it went over. I think he was just trying. He was just trying too hard.
Yeah. So he had
to have an impact. You know what I mean? It was like I think he should have just naturally just gone along his game and not overthink things. Do you know what I mean? Because they weren't really.
Yeah.
Although in the second half, I think they were because they really did I think they took him out and stuff like that. But in the first half, they gave him a lot of free room essentially in the first half.
Yeah.
Second half was a different thing because I think he was playing more on the left, like you said, as an outlet essentially because Cucurella was forcing Saka to injure himself to actually try and get past him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's one of those. But I've talked too much. So
one thing I want to add before you go, Scott, the reason I bring this up too, right, is because we're talking about people saying Maresca playing for a draw. Obviously, we don't think he did. I agree because of the subs. But if I'm playing devil's advocate, you don't want to take a risk on taking off Cole Palmer to try something else to win the game when Cole Palmer was absent for you, at least in those last 20 minutes.
I know why it is he doesn't, and I completely understand it from a sense of like if it's the Man United thing of last season, right? It's like he's like one of the only people in this team that can create a moment like that out of nothing, even if he's having not a great game. And it's the same with like Salah. Like, I'm not saying
Yeah,
Palmer's as good as Salah.
exactly what I was thinking.
Before people start trying to clip me, it's like Salah can be shit for 90 minutes and still score a last minute winner. Like, he just has that ability, and it's kind of similar with Palmer. It's like,
he was rubbish against Arsenal and scored the equaliser.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like he just has those moments, and it's one of those things where it's like if he takes him out, I think it is I'm not saying Maresca is this, but I think it's a little bit of like being too safe, because I think if he takes Palmer out, let's say he brings Felix on, and Felix has an awful cameo off the bench, he gets pelters for taking Palmer out because he's our best attacker.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate like side of it. Like, he's damned if he does, and he's damned if he doesn't.
True.
Yeah.
Because some people will give him pelters because he didn't take Palmer out because he wasn't good enough. Some people will give him pelters if he does take Palmer out because he's our best attacker. And it's like, so he's kind of damned if he does, damned if he doesn't, in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of just going back to the Palmer on the left thing, I think it's much more simple than that. I keep saying it comes back to the centre-backs. When you have two centre-backs that, for me, are so, like, they're so rigid in terms of how they play in the system. Like, Colwell was the central centre-back. He can't play a wide centre-back. He just can't. And same for Fofana. He can't play central centre-back. He can only play wide centre-back. So if that's the case, unless you're going to switch their position and have Fofana on the left, then that means that you have to have it so Cucurella is the one that sits back, so the right back is the one that's inverting. So therefore, he's taking the space that Palmer would have. Because if you notice earlier on in the season, when we had Cucurella inverting into midfield to sit in the pivot, when we were doing that, and we had, I think, Gusto sitting back at times, or whoever it was, or Fofana in games, that was when Palmer was linking up on the right-hand side, because he was taking that space. That's all it is for me. Like, so I think if we were to get, for example, if we had, let's say, Vega and Tosin, I think you'd start to see, like, I think if we'd have had those guys starting, just as an example, as centre-back, I think you would have seen Palmer on the right today linking up more, because then you would have had Cucurella further up the pitch. Inverted.
I see where you're coming from. I think Saka was the biggest issue in all of this. The biggest, I guess the backup in the traffic here. That's a horrible analogy I made. But real Chris, if you were in Maresca's position, would you have taken out Cole Palmer? And who would you have brought on if you did?
I kind of hear what Andrew said before as well. I said put on Felix and then Nkunku, because Palmer was trying too much today. His decision making wasn't the greatest, and
what is this?
Nothing comes off of it.
Let's say, well, this doesn't link to anything about what me and Andrew just said.
What is this?
We're not defending Maresca.
No. Yeah, what
Oh,
is
if you
Vic's
meant me
problem?
then. Fair.
No, what is Vic's problem with Maresca? What is your problem with Maresca, Vic? 'Cause it
So
sounds
what's
like
the point?
I don't know what the issue is here with Maresca. Sorry, Chris. I apologize.
I thought for some reason I thought you were talking about me. I didn't look at the comments.
No.
Oh wait, if I just missed something in my ears?
No. Well, that wouldn't be the first time.
No, but I thought I did it again somehow.
No.
Chris, that's Chris every time.
You carry on, mate.
Go ahead, Chris.
I think I would have tried to put him on the right, because I've been really want to see Enzo on the right and cutting into the middle and try to get him at his best, because last season he was best on his right against the big
You mean
team.
Palmer on the right?
Yeah, I said Palmer, didn't I?
You said Enzo. At least I heard Enzo.
Oh, my head's all over the place today, probably. But,
Okay.
yes, I would have put. I wouldn't say Enzo then. I would have put Cole Palmer on the right, I think, and if he doesn't want to play Cole Palmer on the right, then yes, he should tuck him off, because on the left, I don't see any use Cole Palmer is on the left. I don't like him on the left at all. I don't mind him in the middle, but he wouldn't offer enough today in the middle for me. So yes, I think I would have just tucked him off and put on Nkunku around 70-ish minutes, 75 minutes, I would say. And I think that might be enough time. And same as João Felix, because I don't have anything bad to say about Jackson either, but I think I'm going off the topic of Jackson there, but I don't have anything against Jackson either, but he won't offer anything because there's not enough service in the way for him.
I think that goes in hand with what Andrew said, and I think it is part of it. Today, I said this on the Discord. I said it. I feel like Palmer, you don't need to do everything. You can keep it simple. I think, and we can all remember this. The Jackson was in the middle. He just needed a ball to run through, pass the defense, and Palmer passes it to Neto, which was the wrong decision. He had a lot of wrong decisions today, and I think in that moment, he just didn't look up, or he shouldn't. Honestly, he doesn't need to look up, because I feel like he's the type of player that already knows where he's going to pass it to before he passes it. He knows where people are going to be, and I just think in that moment he hesitated and thought about it too much, and then makes the wrong decision. And who knows? Like, listen, say what you want about Jackson. I'm a fond believer that if Jackson's one-on-one in that situation, very much like against Liverpool, and it's a similar run to what he made against Liverpool, funny enough, that Palmer didn't find him, then I think Jackson puts it away, and we're talking about a different game where we're leading first, and Arsenal have to come at us.
He showed it in the second half, by the way. Like, his 1v1 ability has improved levels since last season.
Jackson?
And, like, he showed that in the second half with the one that was offside.
Oh, yeah, with the offside goal, yeah.
He finishes that calmly. Like, if that was him last season, he takes too many touches. He does kind of what he did against, was it Wolves, where he took a couple extra touches but ended up, like, squaring it to Palmer, who put it into the goal. Yeah. He ends up doing that, like, taking too many touches. But, like, if he'd have been put through by Palmer on there, outside the fact I think it was Gabriel... Yeah, because Saliba stepped out. I think it was Gabriel there that was defending him. Outside the fact he would have had to deal with Gabriel, like if he'd have managed to get a shot away, I'm betting like 80%. I'm 80% sure he scores that.
Yeah, I also think with Palmer playing on the left, like especially, it wasn't that he was just playing on the left. He was actually a lot closer. I think most of his playing area in the second half looked to me like he was playing nearer the halfway line than the actual penalty area. Do you know what I mean? It was like that.
Yeah.
It was like he wasn't so far up with Jackson like he was in the first half. I don't know if that was instructions or anything like that, because they were maybe worried about maybe Cucurella against Saka later in the game and something like that. But I think what we also have to is actually, unlike, we have to praise what Arteta did in terms of like, okay, so you put in Palmer over there, we're going to make sure he's totally out of the game, and he can't really affect anything by putting Partey near him or something like that. And what has to happen is, if we don't have those tactics in terms of like Cucurella's not one-on-one with a winger or the vice versa on the other side, is how do we get the best out of Palmer? Because last week against Man United, they didn't man mark Palmer. He had a lot of time on the ball. He just didn't do anything. And stuff like that. That's something that has to be learned, and you know, that's something from Maresca also to sort out as well. You know, it's okay doing these one-off games, but like games like last week against Man United when you're not man marked, and like the Liverpool game when you are man marked, how do you affect the game more, especially when you don't have to man mark someone? That's something that has to be learned.
But you know what the problem becomes with the Palmer on the right thing, because I know people are going to suggest that, and I would have suggested that as well, is that's cool and we can do that, but after that performance from Neto, especially when he went to the right, like I think up until this game he's been better on the left than he has on the right, and even in this game I thought he was immense on the left. Like he had Ben White on strings the whole game.
So good.
Like he had Ben White on strings the whole game. It got to a point where they had to get either Saka or was it Erdegaard or someone to double up on him, because he was getting cooked every time he got the ball, and he was doing bits. And then went to the right and did the same thing on the right as well. Like, again, he had Timber on strings.
That's where he got his goal.
And that's the thing. And up until, I'd say, apart from Ghent, up until this game, we hadn't seen that from the right from Neto. But this was the game on the right where I thought Neto really came into his own, both from a creativity standpoint, because that cross he put into Nkunku and Palmer, I think it was, where I don't know how one of them doesn't get something on. Was it Fofana? No, it was at the end of the game.
Was it
Fofana?
No, I think it was Fofana. Just missed him. Fofana dove. Remember, he put his feet up.
He might have had two then. I think there was another one.
Yeah.
I think there might have been two names. I think he had another one.
Well, Neto to Malagusto, remember?
No, he crossed it. On the right. He's talking about on the right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on the right.
On the right, he curled it in again, and it just it missed everyone just so much. I mean, Palmer went in and Jackson went in, but it just missed them like that. So,
but you had like that one, and there was a couple of others that he was putting in, and then also just his ability to then do what he did for the goal. And if he's going to do that on the right, then there's no reason to move him from there. So then Palmer has to play centrally, unless you're going to put Neto on the left, which I'm not up against. But then, like, it depends if he's going to keep playing like this. This ultimately is a little bit of a problem. It's a good problem to have. It's not a bad problem. But it's a good problem to have in terms of having certain players in certain positions, like having a few too many players of certain quality in a few too many positions.
Plus, all the thing that everyone, and a credit to him, everyone always says that, well, Noni raising like Maresca likes Noni Madueke is because he does both sides of the game. Neto done that today. So Neto done both
100%.
sides of the game as well. So there's no excuse now. He done it on both wings, by the way. There's no excuse now going, well, yeah, we can't do it because this guy does it on this wing and this wing doesn't. Neto can do it on both wings. He took his goal very, very well today. It was probably obviously his best performance for us since he's arrived, I think, overall.
He could have been man of the match. He could have been man of the match today.
The only thing that frustrated me a bit in the second half was I wished he would have gone more at Ben White and try and get a second yellow on him.
Well, let's actually take a moment to praise the goal. Backwards. This is obviously the goal, right? And like Scott said, from the right side. I don't know where he is. I think he's actually down here.
No,
again, look at where he is in the attack.
Well, this was the weird thing is like, and this is what I don't really understand why Palmer went to the left in the second half, like went and played like left wing, especially after the sub was. And it seemed like Neto was playing.
I'm convinced it's to do with Cook. They maybe were a bit worried about Cucurella in a second, whether like because of fatigue and stuff. I don't know. Maybe because remember Cucurella's not. That was the first game he started in. I know he's played like a couple of cup matches, but it's the first time he started in the league since Newcastle at home. So it's been nearly like a month. With that, so maybe they were a bit worried about like later in there and stuff like that. But I think that's partly the reason why he got on there because we know Palmer is sneaky fast like that. He doesn't. You think he's like lanky and something like that, and he's sneaky strong as well. That'd probably be my only real explanation as why he was over there for predominantly most of the second half.
That's the thing too, right? Because it's like it's. Sure, that could be the reason. It makes sense, but that to me also is probably the reason why you don't take him off, right? Because defensively, he's going to give you more than Nkunku, than Nkunku or Felix. Because we know Felix likes to just have the ball to feet. Nkunku, it's becoming problematic. I mean, we haven't seen him at the 10. I know he hasn't had that many minutes, but he's another one that, outside of one moment in the 8 minutes that he played, he didn't press at all. In fact, this actually annoys me. Hold on, before I even show this, I saw this earlier. This is that the last moment of the game where the ball crosses and if Kai Havertz was a second earlier, it's a goal, right? Last minute at the bridge.
Havertz, it was what's his face?
Trossard and Havertz. It was both of them. Yeah. And Nkunku's right here.
Havertz was free. Trossard.
I see what you're saying. Nkunku's right over here. Then you have Moises hanging out there just ball watching. Nkunku's jogging towards Trossard. Or not Trossard, I'm sorry. Martinelli. Not Martinelli. Oh my God. Odegaard. Jesus. He's jogging towards Odegaard, giving him all the time in the world to just play. So it's like, yeah, no wonder you don't get minutes, dude. No wonder I can't like confidently say, okay, let's sub off Cole Palmer and bring on Nkunku, see what difference he can make.
But the bottom I have with this is several things. He's not been given a stretch of even like, I think the longest substitution period he had was against West Ham. It was about 30 minutes when we were already
that's part of the problem.
The rest are what we term NBA trash minutes. Okay?
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? So I always think you need at least 5 to 10 minutes to get into the flow of a game, to get into game speed. You brought him on today in the 87th minute. The game ended like 96. So it wasn't even like dead on 87, it was 87 something. So we're talking about 8 and a bit minutes. Do you know what I mean? To get into the flow of the game. You know what I mean? People are probably looking at the clock going, second guessing themselves in terms of, shall we go for it? Even I'm talking about the players. Shall we go for it? Shall we not go for it? Can't make this kind of mistake. We've got to keep 100%. I don't think it's fair to ask him, to expect him to press or like this or to catch up when there's other players there. I mean, I would want him actually further up. I don't want him there. I want him further up the pitch as an outlet. In fact, so he should actually be there to begin with. So.
There was only a moment where in the box they was like passing around in the box and you weren't pressing them. Like that's the only part I thought. I felt like he should press, but not here really. Like you said, defenders have got their job to do, and he should stick up top. But yeah, he barely had any minutes. I don't know, this season, most of it, like he had 10 minutes against Bournemouth, like it's like 8 minutes, 10 minutes here and there, and he had that one game wait, like you said, 30, 20 minutes or whatever he had, but he's not really given a proper chance in the Premier League yet.
I will say, like, I don't really want to speak about Nkunku too much. I could shit on him all day, happily so, because I don't think he's been anywhere near the level that we expected him to be. But like, to judge him off the 8 minutes he had in this game, I think is unfair in terms of like our overall season. But I kind of agree with Marshall in a sense of like, I think this is why he isn't playing, because like I just don't think in Maresca's mind he offers anywhere near as much as like in terms of off the ball as Jackson does. And I think that's ultimately I think why he doesn't get as many minutes. And that might be unfair. That's probably unfair, but I think that comes down to it. Because I think that was the same, like, Andrew, you talked about Neto earlier. I think that's now why we're seeing Neto start more. Because you notice it was the same with Mudryk. It was the same with Neto. Yeah. It's once they start doing more on the defensive side and they start working more for the team more, we're seeing them start getting minutes more. And I think that's why he does it. And it's the same with Felix. I think it's the exact same. He doesn't do anything off the ball. So it's like, that's why I think he doesn't get minutes.
Also, the problem is, I think even Maresca came out this week before the Noah game. It was like, yeah, but I'm abbreviating obviously, but I'm using Nkunku as a 9. He knows he's not a 9. He's not an actual 9. So it's like you're asking him to, you're expecting him to do things and stuff like that. He's not accustomed to. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't want to be a 9. He doesn't want to, he'll do it, but he doesn't really want to be a 9. It's like, it's because his instincts are to not really be the last leg of the attack, not to, is to drop a bit deeper, like when he plays with Felix and stuff like that. They both, you can see they both drop a bit deeper. In fact, I think even Felix probably goes ahead of him a bit more, like especially the game midweek against Noah and stuff like that. But and that's the problem we had when we didn't have it. Like I say, it would have been fascinating to obviously if we got Osimhen or something like that, what the conversation about Nkunku would be. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that would be, what would happen? That's why we probably see him getting. This is why he will probably leave next summer. I'm pretty sure of it now. He will go next summer, especially if we bring in a striker, especially if we bring in somebody, especially if we sign Osimhen in January or something like that. I don't think we will. But
surely it's a good market for Nkunku as well.
Or next summer or something. I'm convinced Nkunku will go. I'm just convinced of it. But today isn't the day. Away at Newcastle and League Cup is a day where you go, he didn't do enough. Yeah. That's where you can criticise him heavily, and go, Even the first half against Noah, I didn't think he was.
He was ghosting.
Good one to Tariq George and João Felix misses an open goal, but today is probably one where I go, I can't really do much with this. Do you know what I mean?
I get that, right? I think that's one of the because I feel like I haven't given up on Nkunku. I do like Nkunku. He's one of my favorite players on this team. I haven't given up on him. I'm waiting for the moment either Palmer or Jackson. Well, I'm not waiting for it. I don't hope for it, obviously. But I feel like there will be a moment where either Jackson or Palmer have an injury and Nkunku is going to be asked to step up. And then I want to see how he reacts, right? Like, obviously, that's going to be a better test than the petty minutes, which I agree with you guys that he's been getting. He's been getting absolute dog shit minutes. Like, really hard to say what can you do, right? But at the same time, though, I feel like Mudryk and Neto almost got the same treatment, yet they somehow find a way to get into the first team.
Right, but the thing is, though, like I say, it's all determined on Maresca's minutes that he's given. Do you know what I mean? I think they've been given.
I should say get more minutes.
Mudryk's only just started to get minutes in the Premier League over the last few weeks. And before
Neto too, if you want to be fair.
Literally from the second game of the season, he'd literally just been given minutes in the conference.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And Nkunku has done well in the cups. He's scored 10 goals and stuff like that. But like I said, I'm pretty sure the longest substitution period he's had is West Ham away, and that's because we were 3-0 up. At the time, that was about 30, 25 minutes. The rest of being like Bournemouth, it was like 15 or something like that. He got the winner. Very good. Today was 8 minutes. I mean, it was late against United as well, wasn't it? Was it in like late 70s or early 80s? Or
I don't think he didn't even come on.
Did he even come on?
He didn't come on.
I think outside of that West Ham game, I think the most minutes he's got off the bench that I can remember seeing when I've done research on it is 11 minutes.
Yeah,
right.
That's
so we're
ridiculous.
talking about 11 minutes, and you need to get into people. People don't realize this. Your body needs to. You need to catch up with the speed of the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
It's like you need to catch up with the speed and rhythm of the game to actually have a big impact, or like your team needs to be like 4-0 up and you're just attacking for fun and you can get in. These games where it's so These games where it's so
calm down, Andrew. Jesus.
Yeah, I know.
Nkunku really getting me.
These games where it's tighter, you need even more minutes. You know what I mean? That's why like Enzo did good-ish when he came on because he had about 25 minutes, I think, or something.
He had about like that. 68 minutes he came off.
Yeah,
Enzo
so
came on around the 65th, yeah. So he had about 25 minutes. 25, 30 minutes, yeah.
And it's like Reece James. Even look at Reece James when he came on. I think he got bypassed the number of times when he came on. Do you know what I mean? So it was like he had like
What did he come on? 83rd minute?
No,
80th something.
80 seconds.
What I'm saying,
I said 83rd. That's close.
But another sub in Trossard went past him a couple of times on that right hand side. Do you know what I mean? So he was out of position, but he wasn't up to speed as well. So it's tricky in those tight games. That's why those tight games you've got to really be spot on with your subs if it's tight like that. You know what I mean? So
and I mean, going on to what JC's saying here. Go ahead, Scott.
I'd say I think this just comes back to what we said earlier. I think in terms of Enzo today, I think he did I think he got a lot of things right in terms of I'm glad he didn't change the way we set up. I didn't think he was going to, but I'm glad he didn't. I'm glad that he played certain players and stuck with certain players in terms of like Kukurea come back, for example. But ultimately, the things that let him down were player selection again on two specific positions. I might be cracking up there in a minute, a second.
Wait, who's two positions? I know.
Well,
Obviously.
Gusto is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
And then the other one is Nani Madueke. No, defensively, I personally think I agree with you, Andrew. I think Gusto defensively, he did a job. Last week against United, it was embarrassing that Mazraoui just put you in a spliff. This game, you were more sound defensively, but regardless, like in the attack, it's baffling to me, the touches, the passing, like this is what's failing him, and that's one of the things that last season we were praising him for, just having good general basics.
I'll be honest, I don't even think he was that great defensively today. Like Martinelli went past him too many times for me. And this is a guy like Rashford I could understand because at least there's a little bit of skill there. Like he's not a great player, but like there's a little bit of skill. Martinelli is one of the worst wingers I've ever seen grace this Premier League.
I mean,
he's one of the worst players I've ever seen play football.
Trying to resurrect his career.
As I was saying earlier quickly, it's just I think the two positions today, selection let him down again, and it's the same two positions by the way. And then subs, ultimately. Just the timing of the subs.
Yeah. I mean, I think the one sub that did work out for him, and this is going back to Neto, right? And obviously to answer JC your question real quick before I actually move on to this, I think Sancho's injury actually helped Neto a lot more than it helped Mudryk. Because now Neto's getting his game time, and this is what I'm saying. Like if Nkunku has an opportunity like Neto, then maybe that's where you start to turn this narrative around. And I mean, obviously today we heard United is linked with Nkunku. They inquired about him. You know, we'll talk about that this week, I'm sure.
Can I say, you talk about opportunities, right? Jackson's still on 4 yellows, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So he's probably going to get a game maybe when he gets that yellow book.
That's a good point. Yeah. There will be.
So we know
Jackson gets
that man is getting a yellow
card.
What's
the game before Tottenham?
Aston Villa, right?
Aston
Villa.
It sounds like
Leicester, Villa, and Tottenham. I think
Southampton. No, Southampton.
Is it Southampton? Is it not Southampton?
I think it's Southampton. Yeah, I think it's Southampton.
Southampton midweek on the 4th.
Yeah.
I would honest that Southampton game. I play Nkunku. If Jackson hasn't got a yellow card by then,
that's smart.
I'd drop Jackson to play Nkunku.
That's really smart.
because I don't want him like Jackson against that high line Tottenham team.
Definitely.
Bro, that's cooking. We're cooking in that game.
Without Van der Ven as well.
Oh yeah, but without bro, that's another Jackson. That's what I'm saying.
Another Jackson hat trick. Is that what you said?
Yeah, he hasn't got a yellow. Drop him for that game.
Stop. Think of this. Think of Neto on the right against Adobe. Just think of that in now.
Not even. No. Actually, no. That's the game. I don't care who you have to put on the right. Put Neto on the left. Him versus Pedro Porro. Mwah.
Yeah, either or. Yeah. By the way, if Palmer does have a good game in that one, I don't count it as a game against the top team. I don't count it personally.
Fair enough.
I just think of it. It's the same level as Southampton for me.
So this was something that's
away as well, right? That's away. I think
Tottenham or Southampton.
We're away at Tottenham, I think.
No, we're away at Southampton and Tottenham. Yeah. We're away.
I mean, Southampton don't mind one bit.
So one thing I think overall we can agree on for today's game that was frustrating was the decision making, and I don't know if you guys want to have this discussion, but I'll just put it out there. Enzo Fernandez is a headache. He can give you chances. He can get you the right decision going forward. But oh my God, this man makes Conor Gallagher look like a decent tackler. Oh my days. The way he just throws himself at players is ridiculous. And then no wonder if you don't win your challenge and you're leaving Moises Caicedo by himself to defend the midfield. It's so ridiculous. But in this instance, obviously, give him credit where credit is due. Finds Neto's run, which is brilliant. Neto finding the gap. Look at this huge gap. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, one of them should close him down. Maybe the one who's the furthest to his right.
And boom. What a brilliant shot, too. Holy crap, man.
I don't know Neto can
driven to the ground, the skip. Oh, man. Love to see it.
Don't you think, though, that's what I said earlier, is that Enzo was brought on do that. Not to, that was a good sub. That's why we changed our tactics to counter-attack.
Yeah.
I don't even necessarily think
we conceded the mid. We knew. I think Maresca knew he was going to concede the midfield by bringing Enzo on.
Yeah,
100%. He knew that physically because they still had Partey and Marino on. So he knew physically Caicedo would be outdone. Because he's 1 against 2 essentially. Okay.
Sure.
So I think that's what he was brought on to do. And that's what to do these type of passes. I think that's what we just have to accept that. And I think Enzo Maresca's accepted that as well. That in these type of games, you can't expect Enzo to be a physical nuisance.
So in this image, actually, it makes a lot more sense what you're saying, Andrew, because it almost looks like Enzo's in the middle of a three-man midfield with Palmer playing as a midfielder. Caicedo's on the right. Yeah, you got Caicedo here. You got Palmer here. Cucurella behind Palmer. You got Mudryk up there.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Okay, that's interesting. And to be fair, we didn't look well. It's also Arsenal that hasn't been looking that great in attack, but obviously they're not easy to defend.
Is this from a free kick or a corner? Because I swear.
No, this is from.
I swear Cole and Fafana's in the middle. I think this is set up from either a free kick or a corner that we had. Pretty sure.
Yeah, potentially. But yeah, I mean, we didn't look. It didn't look like a crazy basketball game when Enzo came on, and it could be because of this midfield 3, just to keep a little bit more control. Because when Enzo comes on, I do get afraid for our defense. We do concede a lot of chances. He's just not defensively. He's not the guy.
No, and that's where you. But that's where when we talked about earlier about is Enzo playing for Maresca playing for a draw? No, because he left himself open even more so.
And the thing is, by the way, with the Enzo thing, I disagree slightly in terms of, I think that the two things about, I don't think we went counter-attacking. I think it's like you said, I think it was just a case that we ended up ceding possession because Enzo is not as good defensively as Lavia. And I think that's also, but that's the risk I think we took. It was worth us taking because I think ultimately, as you can see from this, and I think even as we saw as the game went on, even though we conceded more possession to Arsenal, they never looked like they wanted to do anything with it, really, outside of that last chance with Trossard.
Yes.
Like, we had the ability to do that because Arsenal at no point in that game looked like they actually wanted to win that game.
Yeah, but that's why I said that. That's why I'm saying not that we wanted to go counter attack. I think because we gave up the ball, we ended up going counter attack more.
Yeah,
we'll try to because we couldn't get the ball, essentially, like because it was just basically Caicedo in midfield by himself because Enzo, is not.
It was a little bit of that because Enzo was pressing like a madman. If I had to be honest, Enzo was pressing like a madman.
Like you said, his press is too slow. He's too slow.
Yeah.
By the time he presses and gets there, the ball's gone. So that's the problem, and that's why we always said that's why we're very limited in midfield in terms of options.
100%.
Because you either do you bring a Juice Mule wasn't even in the thing. I think there'll be a trend going on, but there's no other. That's no other defender. Like, could you play Vega? I mean, if we went 2-1 up and we didn't have Enzo on the pitch, I think he might have brought Vega on to shore up. Then that's when he was playing for a result. But Enzo's really the only other option, especially that Lavia. Nothing's come out yet, but Lavia looked like he might have picked up a knock or something like that.
Yeah. That's true. I did forget about that. That is when Enzo came on. I mean, I was calling for Enzo to come on because Lavia, I don't know if it was fitness or it's just getting back into the pace of the game. Second half again.
Since Lavia's been back, that Enzo always replaces him at some point in the game since Lavia's been back from Liverpool onwards.
Yeah, because against United, the second half, Lavia was trying to lose possession more. This time, it happened once at least, that I can remember. I don't think it was bad, but I think he had a solid performance in the midfield. But he also got taken off because I think it was his time to get swapped out. But also, there's a worry with the injury. Hopefully, it's nothing crazy. Scott, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. What were we gonna say?
That's cool. I think I agree with you in the sense of like it being a conundrum with Enzo, because I think because of his deficiencies, the best partnership that you can have with Enzo is Lavia, because Lavia is able to be much more positionally disciplined than Caicedo. But you can't drop Caicedo.
Exactly.
You can't drop Caicedo because he's been our best player this season.
Phenomenal.
So it's like we're in an unfortunate position where, yes, we probably need Enzo. Like, as bad as he has been, he does bring something to this team in terms of like being able to drive us forward.
I think rotation-wise, you could actually start Enzo against Leicester and Southampton.
Yeah.
And get away with it. With like Villa and Spurs coming up, then you don't start.
Because they're more open.
You know what? The way the high line is at Spurs, you could make. There is a case you could make with Enzo, because Enzo being there, that you could make a case for starting that one. Because
that's the thing. He transitions the ball quicker than all of us. All of the other. Not against Villa. I agree. But with him, oh my God, McGinn would just put him in a spliff.
I don't
No, bro, you said McGinn. Onana will put him in a split.
Onana. True. Both. Oh my God. I don't even think about that.
Three successful tackles. There's only one tackle I really remember Enzo doing pretty good.
Sorry, I say 3 successful tackles.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
That's
three successful crashes into a player. That's what I remember.
He was falling.
Yeah, he was doing what Conor Gallagher was doing.
I thought his passing was good, but tackling, there's only one good tackle.
I'd have to see it.
What constitutes a tackle just might be nicking the ball or someone.
Yeah.
Or blocking a pass or something like that.
But go with the Enzo thing. I could see Leicester Southampton because they'd be more open, right? They wouldn't. Press us as hard as Tottenham you could, but that's the other thing too, right? Thank you.
It's just the quality of player, I think, as well. I think it's more just quality of player. I'm sorry, even if they press us, I expect Enzo to be better than the Southampton midfield. 100%. I expect him to be better than the Leicester midfield.
But what Andrew's saying, right? And I hear it. You can make the argument for Tottenham.
But we've seen it in the mid. Listen. We've seen it in the Highline game against Brighton. He's able to pick up a number of passes against Brighton's Highline and find Palmer and Jackson a few times. We've seen it in the second half, like against Wolves, when they were pressing high up and stuff like that. He actually sat a lot deeper and and broke up a lot of attacks, and against West Ham as well. He did the same thing. So he can do it. It's just the high octane offenses. Like even against Liverpool, I thought he did okay against Liverpool and stuff like that. And last week against United, he should have scored. So and Maresca's just got to be very selective of who he starts him against. That's what it is. Not against Villa. Huge headache. But there are chances, especially against Leicester and Southampton. Although Leicester's the lunchtime kickoff and coming back to South America, so I don't know. But against Southampton, definitely. Looking at Spurs, who will be, especially because I don't know, Van de Ven might be back by then. I'm not 100% sure. But
who do we play on the first?
We play. Is it?
We do. Aston Villa's the first. 8:30 a.m.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So he won't play that game, and then we play Southampton 3 days later. Yeah. So, I fully expect him to play Southampton.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if Lavia is not fit for upcoming games against Villa, then I wouldn't play. I would play Vega there instead of Enzo, just for physicality.
100%.
And stuff like that. I would not play Enzo against a duel of like Nana and Tillman in that midfield. No chance.
Just asking for trouble. That's just asking for trouble. But onto the Spurs game that you were talking about. That's one of those games where I feel like it is a coin toss for Enzo Fernandez, because of all the midfielders that we have, he's the one that quickly turns over the ball, right? Like, he'll find the pass quick. It's frustrating when he doesn't, but that's the part of the game where you're playing risky passes, you're creating big chances. That's what Enzo's supposed to do. You're not always going to pull them off, but in that game, since he's so quick with finding those passes, it helps us. Whereas Lavia, I know he has it in him. I know he has line-breaking passes in him, but it's like he's been obviously taking into consideration the opposition, but I feel like we haven't seen that much from him, and if we have, it's been too slow, where it is, his passing lane already gets caught off by the time he decides to do it. But Moises Caicedo, pulling up his stats in front of us, there's no way we can drop him. And that's where the headache is a headache. You can't drop him. You can't, unless you're resting him, you cannot drop Moises Caicedo.
Oh, no. I think you could against like Southampton and stuff like that. I really think you could get away with it with Southampton, right? I think you could do that. By the way, he's our most important. This guy's our most important player, by the way.
100%.
I also think, like Andrew said, it's kind of what we said about Jackson earlier. It's like, because is he on 3 or 4 yellow cards as well? I think.
I think he's on 3.
I'll check right now.
So it's a case of like because he's in a position as well, because the position he plays and because the type of player he is, he's kind of like Kante in a sense of like he'll get a lot of yellow cards.
He's got 2 yellow cards so far.
He's still got 2. Interesting. I thought he had at least 3 or 4. But even so, like if it gets to a point, right, where like against Villa he gets like a 4th yellow card, for example, then I can see us dropping him for Southampton, so he can then he's definitely going to play against Spurs, because like if he gets a yellow card there, who cares? I think we've got like Fulham afterwards. So it's
is Fulham not the Boxing Day?
No, I know Fulham. I can't remember who we've got, but I said Fulham because it was the first team that came to mind. I think isn't Ipswich on Boxing Day, or are they the game after Boxing Day?
No, you're right. It's Ipswich. No, it's Ipswich on Boxing. No, you're absolutely right. It's Ipswich on Boxing.
Yeah, I think Fulham's the game before that. Before. So it must be Everton. Anyway, like that's the game where you can, like, if he gets the yellow card, because like what you don't want to do is him play against Southampton and get a yellow card there, if he's on 4, for example, and then he missed the Tottenham game. That would be worst case scenario. I still think we should beat Tottenham anyway, but that would be like worst case scenario.
No, I agree that there's no real easy, there's very tough.
Of course.
Premier League games. But what I'm saying is the Christmas period is a time where it's because remember we'll still be playing. I think there'll be 1 or 2 European games during the month, because our competition is only 6 first stage games. So I think there'll be 2 in there, and there's a trip to Kazakhstan. Obviously, he won't go in that one, but I just think there's some games where you look at and you go, I'm not saying full rotation against Southampton, I'm just saying little ones here and there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if we're like you said, the scenario is you could get away with playing Lavia and Enzo, and I'm going still put Caicedo on the bench, obviously, but if you can get away with it and just give him some some respite because we got, going into the Spurs game and then the Christmas period. It's very busy, so it's just one of those things. I mean, hindsight's great, but looking how like Santos is performing at Strasbourg, he'd be so great right now just to rotate in and out essentially. But that's by the way, or that's by the by, isn't it? So it's just an option here or there. I don't know if Maresca will do that, but it's just a risk of overplaying him. Do you know what I mean? Just over, like I said, because everyone's like, why do if will Palmer make it against Arsenal? This guy gets injured, we're fucked. Do you know what I mean? We are literally fucked. I don't care what anyone says. We are. He is so pivotal to this team. He's the most important player.
He holds us together. Like
he is, and there's no replacing him.
Holds us together. Yeah.
No replace, especially our midfield options. We'd literally have 3 midfielders if he was injured.
He's the one that every game he has pretty much stepped up and is always in contention for man of the match. Like it's good to see. Like, and no one and listen, Andrew has said it. I'm pretty sure Scott said it. I'm pretty sure all of us have said this. No one is talking about the price tag now. No one is mentioning the price tag. Nope, it hasn't been brought up ever since.
And KDH was not a stupid signing. KDH was a mental signing in terms of it was bought in basically so he could spread the word of Maresca in the dressing room. I'm convinced of it. Okay, I'm convinced of it.
You're not wrong, I think.
I'm convinced of it. It's what Brendan Rodgers did when he bought the Swansea Joe Allen from Swansea. By the way, this is just for this season. They bought in. KDH will be sold next summer. I'm telling you right now. Oh my
god, that'd be embarrassing.
It's to plant someone in there so that because then they can. KDH is probably one of the most popular guys at the start of the summer because they kept asking him about Maresca. What's he like? What does he mean like this way? Stuff like that. And he just spread the word of Maresca. I'm convinced of it.
Basically, like a little coach, eh?
Yeah, basically, his voice in the dressing room. That's what it is.
I just feel like
he's like the vice. But he's like, I said this on Lewis's channel. He's like the vice. He might as well become the vice captain of the WhatsApp group behind Bettinelli now. Like
basically, he's like the vice president. He just goes out there and just says good things about the president and stuff like that. That's what it is.
That signing is looking even weirder and weirder each day.
I'm convinced he's being sold next summer. He's being sold next summer.
Where does he fit with like Santos not coming back?
Not even Santos. Like, it's not even Santos that he has to worry about. Like, well, he does have to worry, but like the moment Paez comes into this team, he takes his spot. He's got max. Like after this season, he has max 1 more year here.
Wait, isn't Paez the winger?
No, he plays in the 10 as well. Like he plays like so when he's played sometime as like an 8/10 when they played a 3-man midfield as well.
Paez is going
for a year. So that's what I'm saying. Like he has next year when Paez is on loan. If Paez does bits on loan for Strasbourg, he comes into this team and KDH goes to Everton on loan.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I'm convinced with that. So I think Santos will be given a place in the squad next summer. I'm convinced of it.
Playing well.
So it stops us. So we don't have to spend big money on midfield, and we can spend a ton of money on a goalkeeper and another centre back.
Yeah, I mean,
I know we're waiting for that keeper.
I wanted to ask you guys this. Well, one thing I wanted to point out is that it's kind of ironic that we conceded from open play because of the defensive mistake, but we were actually pretty damn solid in set piece defending today.
Yeah, for midgets.
There was some shaky moments. There were some shaky moments. But...
To be fair, by the way, when it comes to the set piece thing, it's not all set pieces. I didn't realise this. All of the set pieces we've conceded in the league are free kicks. We actually haven't conceded from a corner so far in the league.
Arsenal only scored twice.
Yeah.
They showed it. The only reason I know that, by the way, is because they showed a graphic in the game where it said we've conceded the joint most goals from free kick. Goals from free kicks in the league, which is 3, and we've conceded 3 set piece goals.
I think Arsenal have only scored in the league.
They've only scored
3 goals. So it's 2 from corners against Spurs, Spurs City, and then the free kick against Liverpool. Is the only one that they've. I don't want to talk about their corners. I want to talk about our corners because I like Cole Palmer. But his corners were crap today, absolutely crap. They didn't beat the first man again. Do you know what I mean? So it's
not just his corners, by the way. You mentioned earlier about his free kick. Like all of his free kicks, the first one he tries to shoot and puts it into row Z, and the second two he hits the wall both times.
Ridiculous.
Yes,
I mean, Cole Palmer. Sorry.
No, go on.
I was gonna say Cole Palmer weren't lying. If you remember when he scored that free kick against Brighton, he said he doesn't take free kicks. He thought, why not? I can see it.
I'm convinced I'm convinced he can take long free kicks. Because obviously we've only seen one. The Brighton one was a fair distance out. This one, you got to be really to try and hit it over the wall and into the corner. You got to be really. I don't know why people just don't try and hit it low more often. Stuff. I know people are lying on the wall now, but that's what I would have done. But yeah, I mean, we didn't really concede a lot. I was very frustrated when Caicedo conceded that free kick late in the second half. Yeah, I was like, you bastard. It's like 84th minute or something like that. You bastard.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do this, please.
But that's that. I'm going to use this to transition into another thing I wanted to bring up too, which is how do we feel about this whole Reece James situation? Because I don't want to say it's a situation, but
yeah, so you say situation. I think.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's not the right word. But the fact that I think all of us advocated for him to start today and Malo Gusto to not, and I think. Scott, I don't know if you're there, but Scott had a pretty decent explanation for why that is and why that decision was made. But I'm thinking about these, set pieces and Cole Palmer not being able to shoot it from as close as what we saw today. In those situations, I would have liked Reece James to be behind the ball. And if Cole Palmer's not making the corners and getting it past the first man, I know Reece James can.
Reece James has been injured for 3 years and just played 2 back-to-back 90-plus minute games against United and Newcastle. I think he played.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Maresca's already said he can't play twice. Can't play twice in a week, and they're being very careful with him. If even if he doesn't admit it himself, they'll speak to the medical team.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think he can do enough? How many minutes do you think he can do? That's why we got Gusto. Stuff like that, so we don't have to keep risking Reece James or playing Disasi at right back and stuff like that. So I have no problem. I don't think there was any issues really defensively in Gusto, stuff like that. I think it's just with Reece, it's just we have to be so careful because for me, one more big injury, like.
Yeah,
for me, I think he's done at this point.
It looks bad, then, yeah.
We won't ever settle him, but me, it'd be like, I can't really rely on you much, and I can't rely on you whatsoever. I think they're being extra careful. It is, touchwood right now, it is more noticeable that, funny enough, with different training, that we're not seeing a lot of injuries off the pitch.
Nope.
Or reoccurring, or people, also we changed the medical team as well, but that is what I always thought that was not even a conspiracy theory. That was my main thing about last year with Poch, that his main damage to this club was actually injuring these players with his prehistoric training methods and stuff like that. So, and with Reece, he's basically been injured for 3 years. Got to be so careful with him and stuff.
The last
like
2
that.
years really painful for him as well. He's barely fit for like more than 10 games. I think the last 2 seasons.
Exactly. And
I don't want to keep playing them 3 breaks either. I find that stupid.
I get that.
But
the thing about this, when I said he played like 90 minutes the previous 2 games, one of them was by mistake against Newcastle because we'd used all our windows.
He was knackered at the end.
Yeah, and last week against United, I don't know why he played another 90 minutes, but he did. But this is one of those.
I mean,
I'll say about Reece quickly is how he was used when he came on. He used him the same way as he was using Gusto, which shows me that he knows that he can do that same role. Because I fully believe since the start of the season he's able to do that role, even if he could only do it for 60 minutes in a game when he's fully fit. I don't care. I'll take those 60 minutes. And that was good to see. Like, he didn't immediately change it up like he did against who was it? Was it Newcastle? No, it wasn't Newcastle. Newcastle. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Newcastle. I can't remember who it was. No, sorry, it was United. Excuse me. United. How he changed it at United, and then we went with like Cucurella as the inverted one. Like, I'm glad that he kept it the same. Whether that continues moving forward, we'll see. And I don't know if it was just a case like Andrew mentioned earlier. It might have been just because Cucurella was marking Saka and whatnot, and we'll see going forward. But like, I hope it's something that continues, because like, I think it just suits this team so much better. Reece being able to do that stuff going forward again, even if it's only for 60 minutes, that's fine. I'll take 60 minutes at like every league game of him doing that. You see when he comes on, like, he immediately gets in positions where, like, even that cross that he put in, it's not great, but that's the position you want him to get into. The old Aspi position, where he used to hit those little crosses where Reece was to Morata, that link-up play, like, Reece can do those even better. And then you just got to make sure that you get Jackson and all the others in the box to get their head in them.
Yeah, so we're talking about rotation. You're not going to go into national duty, of course, so he's got another thing to develop his fitness. Starts against Leicester, starts against Villa. Doesn't start against Southampton, starts against Spurs. Like that.
I can see that. But I think part of what frustrates me though, Andrew, and I think part of what frustrates a few of us is that we've known all season for the most part that Malo Gusto has not been playing as well as last season, right? And we know Cucurella has been magnificent. I would say, like, listen, obviously calm me down if I'm getting ahead of myself here, but it genuinely feels that this season Cucurella is becoming that player that Aspi was for us, which is consistently putting on great performances, especially defensively. But he was playing well, and then he's dropped all of a sudden, and then we're trying to shoehorn Reece James. Well, maybe not shoehorn. Maybe that's not the right word. But fitting in Reece James at left back and having Cucurella play right back when... Not Cucurella, I'm sorry. Gusto. When Gusto hasn't been performing that well, especially against United. That was a weird decision from Maresca.
Cucurella, obviously, he got suspended against
Liverpool. Yeah.
Liverpool.
True.
So he couldn't play there.
And then left back Gusto. Yeah, that was not
good.
And
then the Newcastle game, we were all surprised when Reece started at left back and played very well. Moved to right back, played very well. And I think he just didn't want to mess it up. And he probably can I be honest with you? He probably didn't respect Man United's attackers. I'll be honest with you. That's probably didn't. And he's probably right to do so, because they really didn't do much, apart from, and only got a penalty and stuff. But so today, even like previews, I think most of us probably wanted Cucurella to start, but probably maybe thought he wasn't going to, and maybe we'd see either Gusto or Reece. But maybe he also thought Arsenal got two speedy wingers, no matter what you think of them, and Martinelli and stuff like that. Reece has only just come back.
Yeah,
let's not overburden him. He's got previous hamstring issues. Let's take care. And he's proven right in the end. In terms of like Cucurella masterclass on Saka. I thought Gusto defensively was okay, but I think he doesn't want to rush in. We're just getting Reece back. You know what I mean? Let's ease him in so much so that maybe on the return fixture at the Emirates or stuff like that, we're all then going, okay, Reece has now played 10, 15 games, league games, or like 20 games or something in a row. He's looked good, no injury. I'm happy for him to go up against Martinelli or play on the left against Saka and stuff like that, and let's see what he can do.
JC, here's the thing though about Gusto, right? The inverting aspect of it isn't the part that's destroying him this season, per se, right? I think what's killing him is the lack of fundamentals, having that down pat. The bad touches in the box, the inability to shoot or even, shoot on target, to be honest. The inability to do the 1-2s, find the right pass, like passing it right to the opposition team. That's the part that's frustrating. And that has nothing to do with his positioning. And I think we discussed this as well on the Discord, which, by the way, if you haven't already done so, join the Discord community down in the description below. But yeah, that's that's the frustrating thing about Malo Gusto is the he's degraded in terms of this season when it comes to the fundamentals of what he has to do as of just a professional football player. The inverting thing, like that's fine. Like if we see him struggling with the inversion, which I expected James to struggle with that a bit, because obviously you're asking a lot of your player to be aware of when to transition over to the offensive shape, be aware when to transition over to the defensive shape, come back and forth. It's a lot of running. But that's not the part that's killed him.
I would think so. If he starts Cucurella, obviously not with these other. Cucurella is the best person suited for that inverting role.
100%.
So you might see less Gusto doing it. Gusto's just not. Listen, when we first bought him, everyone said, "Oh, he's a good attacker, but his defending is not that good." But it's actually the other way around.
Yeah,
with Gusto, his defending is far more better than his attacking, and we're not playing him like an out and out fullback, wing back situation where like a Spurs situation. All their width comes from their fullbacks and stuff like that. So more likely he's not playing like an old school Frank or something like that. But like I say, mate, if a non-injured for the past 2-3 years Reece was there, maybe he would be doing that inverting role or something like that.
Yeah,
we can't ask him to do that because he's only just come back. So we might see over the next, because I think Villa play, if I'm not mistaken, don't they play McGinn on the right side now? They do, right? So you don't at the moment whether they'll play him against us, I don't know, but you don't really need to have Cucurella do as much of a marking job as he did against Saka, right? Brennan Johnson for Spurs might be a different thing, but even then you don't need to do much, like a big old like man marking job like you do with Saka and stuff like that. So you could see Cucurella being reverted back to doing the inversion thing.
Yeah, he could deputize that inversion.
Yeah, for the next few games.
Sure. Yeah, but I mean, like, I wouldn't be opposed because listen, again, like, I do like Malo Gusto, but I think it's safe to say this season his form has not been up to snuff for what we need. I also understand on the opposite spectrum that I just said literally when I was describing this inversion, right, that it's a lot of work. It's a lot on the body. So I wouldn't be opposed to Reece James playing 60 minutes, 65 minutes in that role, and then you bring in Malo Gusto and have him gain his confidence again. Give him the minutes when there's tired legs on the pitch so that he can solidify us in that defense, and then going forward too, he can help out a little bit. Although Malo Gusto tremendously needs to work on his finishing, or at least shooting.
He needs to work on his final product. Full stop.
Yes,
like it's bad.
Like
you said, it's like the issue with Gusto this season has not been like, for the most part, it's not been positioning. There have been the odd times where position has been a problem in terms of he's not used to inverting, and I completely understand.
Yeah,
like you mentioned, he gets caught on a transition sometimes because he was like, he's trying to get back and we're not covering, and like I'd kind of understand that, right? But his issues are coming from not being able to get the final pass right, or not being able to shoot properly, or not being able to just get a pass right, just in general, and getting caught out defensively, which he was meant to be good at last year. Like the issues he is having, he could have those. It's like he would have those same issues he's having right now, whether he was inverting or not, because there are times when he's playing as a right back when when we've just got the ball or something, and he still makes a stupid error. Like there was I can't remember what game it was, but there was a game he picked the ball up as a right back when we started an attack, or just got the ball back from an attack, passed it inside, passed it straight to an opposition player. Like that's not a positional issue. That's just a concentration issue.
100%. I can't disagree with that at all. And here's another player I want to bring up, and this is probably the last player I'm going to bring up in terms of like the negative stuff.
Oh no, it depends who this is, because I think we've buried the lead a little bit here so far. But carry on.
Nani Madueke. I feel like we've kind of overlooked this conversation with him. And let me kind of display also why I think it's. I don't think this is why, but it's one of the reasons too that I'm thinking like, okay, even defensively, you're making mistakes now. Going forward, he was okay, but again, crosses into the box going into where, you know, Raya was claiming all those crosses in the box from him. His side was going to Raya.
There was one cross he did pull, Marshall, if you remember. I think it's to Cole Palmer, where he just dinked it in. That's the only cross I thought he did good today. That's about it. If you remember that one.
He was just ineffective, and obviously this is the goal we conceded. You see, Nani is over here. Malagusto is caught out of position, or not out of position. He is in position, but I don't think he's aware that there's two people behind him. This is kind of what, you know, Scott was alluding to, is just like the lapses of concentration and like just, you know, bozo moments. Nani also, he's looking at all this. You've seen there's players here.
This is danger, yeah. That's a danger right there. Two behind Gusto.
It's tough. I understand. There's a lot of running involved, but you know, you're a professional footballer. You're 59, you know, 15 minutes into the second half?
Yeah.
Like, you got to do better, man. Oh, okay. Thanks. Thanks. That was great timing.
You got to do better.
Cool,
about to show the Sanchez freaking bozo moment, too.
Sanchez didn't do that mistake.
You'll never know what happened.
What my thing is
I can find another
with
one.
Nani this game.
Yeah. Talk to me, Scott.
I think my thing with Nani this game is I don't think he was awful. I don't think he was good. But, like, I think the biggest issue he had today is I thought when he and he's had this a while, is like his ability to drive with the ball is good, and his ability to drive us up the pitch is good, and carry the ball is really good. The issue he has, and it was highlighted today even more by what Neto did, his final ball is still not there. Like the final cross, the final shot, the final decision, whatever, just isn't there. And that's ultimately what it is. Like he can, like, even today, as I said, I thought he had a decent game. Not spectacular by any means, but I thought he had a decent game. And yet, when you get to the end, like when he has to put the cross in, he has to do the shot, he has to do whatever, it's just not there. And then you see when Neto goes over to the right-hand side, the difference in what he's bringing in comparison is levels ahead in terms of that final ball. Because it was mostly the same in terms, obviously he's a little bit more skillful, but it's mostly the same in terms of driving with the ball, taking it up the pitch, this, that, and the other. But then it's that final bit, you know? It's that final cross.
Do you know what I would love to have seen today, and even in other games? 10-15 minutes on the left. What can you do on the left?
Nani?
Just switch it up. Because we all know what you're going to do. Yeah, you can use your right foot. It's not the best as your left, but you're always wanting to switch in and try and shoot on your left or curl it in, like, come back. Why not 10-15 minutes, just see how it goes. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you're going to permanently play there, but switch it up. Do it Neto. Yeah. Why not? Neto.
I mean, yeah.
Might just try it. See, you got. I said to him, White's on the yellow card. Just drive it in. See what we can do. Because what would have happened is, even if you didn't get a yellow card, they might try to double team you because they knew you were good at dribbling. Take a player out of position. You know what I mean? Or space. Just try it out. I would just love to have seen that. You know, see what you can do on the left. You know?
I mean, you tried Cole Palmer on the left.
Right, but we'll try Neto on the left, put Neto on the right.
You could have tried
switch up. Make Arteta double think things. Do you know what I mean? Shit, White's on the yellow. Now I've got this guy. He's going to directly run at him. You know what I mean? Let's see what we can do. Just a thought.
Yeah, I think ultimately he does need to be benched, and I think before this game I was hesitant until Sancho was back, just because again I thought Neto was so much better on the left and than he is on the right. But I think after seeing particularly the second half performance after Mudryk went off, like Neto was so good on the right, I think you now can bring Mudryk in. And again, it's like next game is against Leicester. Hopefully Sancho is fit by then, but on the off chance he isn't, like I think Mudryk can play that game. And then I'm looking forward to seeing him and Sancho, like Neto and Sancho, play together. Because the other thing both of them can do, like Andrew kind of just mentioned there a little bit, with Nani, that he can't do, is they can both play both sides effectively.
You know, I do as well. I play Nani in the next Conference League game as well. Play him there. Just to maybe get his confidence up, bag a couple of goals.
I mean, to be fair,
up a bit.
You got international break. It's a good opportunity to reset the lineups if you want to reset and bring some people over.
He's not scored since Forest. I don't think he's got an assist this season either. So he's not scored.
Wait, didn't he get goal?
He has an assist. He does have an assist. I think again with Cole Palmer. I'll check.
No, he's only played once in the Conference League, and he scored at the start of the season.
Okay. Yeah.
That was it. But no, that's what I would do.
So you know what? In the league. Holy shit.
You know what? Let's let's get your confidence a bit up. Bag a couple of goals against whatever the team's called. And then start building yourself back up again. You know what I mean? And then come back into the team.
I agree.
Only fair, really. Neto had to do it. So, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, if that's something like, listen, because we've heard it before with Nani, is that he strives to get better as a player and all that stuff. He worked on his weak foot shot, which we saw against Wolves. You know, he had to add that to his arsenal. I would say, like, this is one thing that add this to your arsenal. Be able to play on the left wing. Be versatile in that sense.
That's the thing. I do want to say as well, like, that's what I want to defend Nani a bit. And I think this is why I defend Nani as much as I do. Is because, like, as bad as he has been in some games this season, I think he has improved. I think the people like
100%.
And there was some of this in the Discord. I think saying like he hasn't improved this season, I think is straight up bollocks. Like I think is nonsense because he has improved. Yeah. Like we basically never saw him use his right foot last season at any point. We never saw him have this much link-up play really with Palmer and other players as we have this season.
Offensively,
he definitely improved. However, I don't think there has been enough improvement compared to like the minutes he's got and stuff like that. I think that we're a little bit behind. But yeah, I think, as I said, I think ultimately like he hasn't been good enough for what we expect and he should be benched. But I just don't want the criticism to go over what it seems to do.
Especially now when there's actually options. Like last season there wasn't options. Right? There just wasn't. So you had to keep playing players, whether they're playing bad or not. You know what I mean? Or not in form. Actually options now to actually go, okay, so we're going to take you out. It's not even throwing people on the bus going, you know what, just notice, you've been good, but something's just not right at the moment. It's not clicking. You know what I mean? Neto's playing well on the right. I want to try him and Sancho on both sides, see what that does. You know what I mean? Especially with the next run of games, which are Aston Villa and Spurs are on paper more winnable than the previous 4 games we've just played. Let's see what we can do. It doesn't mean, you're going to be in the squad. Yeah, he's definitely on the bench. Of course he'll be on the bench. He's not going to bomb him out the squad. He's going to be on the bench. But you know what? I'm going to play you in the next Conference League games that are popping up. Try and bag a couple of goals, a couple of assists, man of match performances. I'm going to bring you on as an impact sub. Let's see what you can do there. Like Neto did. Literally point to Neto and go, that's what Neto's just done. And look how he's playing right now. Literally one of the first names on the team sheet at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Bam.
Same with Mudryk as well. Like that's how Mudryk's gained confidence. Is like he still has things to learn, but you can see that this is a different Mudryk. There is so much more confidence there than there was last season. Even at the start of this, not even last season, there's so much more confidence than there was at the start of the season 2 months ago.
Right. That's the thing.
He's given time to like show what he can do in the Conference League. Has done minutes and so has done bits. And then that's been then rewarded with minutes in the Prem.
Yeah, because I think if not Sancho had been fit, we might have. I don't know if Noni would have started most of the recent games. I've got to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because he has been bought off. He has been bought off every game. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he's finished 90 minutes for ages.
I don't think so either.
It's been a while too.
You know what I mean?
Think about it.
He's been bought off for like.
Actually, let me look at transfer market.
Mudryk, really. I think Mudryk's replaced him nearly every game. But I
think so too.
Yeah, I think it's the whole point. It's like no one should have a. Of course, there are going to be some that you cannot, you're not going to drop a lot or for a long period of time. Like no one's going to, no matter how Palmer's playing right now, you're never going to go, we're going to drop you for the next 3, or we're going to rotate you for the next 3 games out. That's just not happening. Same with Jackson and Caicedo and Lavia and stuff like that. But we got the even like I thought Tariq George had a good.
His last 90-minute game was the game he scored against Nottingham Forest. That was on the 6th of October.
We're talking about
a month ago.
Nearly, so it's 6 weeks, 6 weeks we're talking about, right? So, and that's the point. And since then, decent first half against Liverpool, but faded out, taken off. Man United, shit. Came on against Newcastle in the League Cup. and today's game, you know what I mean? If I'm being kind,
Yeah.
If I was to rate those four performances, if I gave him barely a 5, I think I'm being too kind, maybe.
Pretty mediocre.
Yeah, pretty bang average to poor performances. And Neto's now not only playing well, he's having a big influence in games. So even against
defensively, he's also providing just as much.
Yeah, like I said, and even against United, I thought he was one of the better players. Against United, and against Liverpool, he had decent enough cameo and stuff like that. But he's earned that spot now by playing well. So now he's got to earn it back, or stuff like that.
Yeah, because it's going to be really interesting to see what Maresca's going to do in terms of Jadon, right? Because he said against what game was it? Oh my God, it was Newcastle. Yeah, I think he said against Newcastle, Jadon didn't start for tactical reasons. And then the following week, when we expected to see him, or not even the following week, that same week against Panathinaikos, Jadon also didn't start. And apparently he was ill, missed the next game as a result. He was ill against United, I guess. And then apparently now he has a knock. Oh, yeah, he couldn't play against United anyways, yeah.
I think he was ill still anyway, but he wouldn't be able to play regardless.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been able to. And then now it's a knock.
Yeah, but there's also, I think, I heard a rumor going around there's some like something to do with tonsils or tonsillitis or something like that.
There's a picture of him. I think it was on his Insta. There's a picture of him with like some, not strapping, but you know the things that you get like the ECG thing, little things. There was some of those on his.
Yeah, it's like a muscle. I think it's like a muscle thing or something like that. You put around.
Something like that.
I don't know. I know he's had tonsil problems before, and obviously in adults, if you don't get them taken out, that can be pretty bad. And that's obviously a viral thing as well. So that will attack an immune system and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd like to see. No, it doesn't. It just if we finish above 14th,
it is an obligation.
Something like that. You signed. But yeah,
again, it's not like he was playing bad when he got benched. So
no, 100%, and I'd sign him still.
Yeah,
I'd
sign him as well. I'd sign him as well.
Yeah, like this would have been a good game for him to play in, but
yes, it would have been. It would have been very good, even if he's on the bench to bring him on or something like that, just a change or something like that. He's a different option. He's
he's much more direct too, just like Nani on that left side.
Yeah, exactly, stuff like that. So it's a good option to have.
I have to show you guys this because I
mean, can we address the? I was about to say the elephant in the room, not the elephant in the room, the pimple on the arse.
Yeah, let's look at this. Look at that.
Unsavable.
That just really hurts me to see. Like,
did you see that thing I sent in the Casually GC on X?
Is that the one about the errors?
Yeah.
Oh
and I think that's wrong. I think he's responsible for 5 goals, not 3.
Oh my God! Fuck man.
I think he's responsible. Out of the top of my mind, I think he's responsible.
It pains you to see this shit.
Do you know I think he got awarded Save of the Month or something against Forest.
Yeah, he did.
He caused that save. He caused that save. He gave away the ball.
Yeah, but good save.
Goals prevented minus 0.2.
That's literally Russell Wilson when he's going for the triple-double thing, when he gave himself a rebound off the thing to get the record.
I think it's only Sanchez, because he made a really good save against Arsenal as well today, by the way. Only Sanchez.
Yeah, Martinelli.
No, that was offside. Yeah. I'm not giving it to him. That was offside.
I mean, still, but it's only Sanchez who can make like a save where he should save and an unsavable save.
This is a no Sanchez protection zone.
No, this
I know, man. Someone's got to get
fuck this guy. And I was like, this is where it comes back to, like, when I talked about Maresca earlier. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I like Maresca and he's done so many good things for us. The one thing above all else that he keeps doing is Sanchez.
I mean,
it doesn't make any sense to me.
Fucking persistent.
Diego just reminded me. City's second goal. That's 6 goals. I've got it up to 6 goals now. He's cost us this season. I've got 6 goals. In my mind, he's cost us.
It's so baffling because this is exactly what Andrew has touted this. Andrew's been the longest fighting soldier of the get a goalkeeping army for about 3 to 4 years now. Like we need a keeper, and we still haven't resolved this.
I had a 15-month break with Mendy, so I had a 15-month break from fighting for it. So I was like, if he gave me a 15-month reprieve, and then it's like since about 2022, so we're going on nearly 3 years where it's like, I still get, and it's not even from a regular guy who we all know who doesn't respect the goalkeeping position, but
let's have it right.
No, not him. Not him.
Okay.
He just doesn't respect people of different races. So it's no, I still see now. He's still good enough to get us top 4. It's okay. We'll buy a goalkeeper.
He might cost us top 4.
That's what I said. That's what I said. I said, how do you know he doesn't cost us top 4? Because I can legitimately say in the past 2 games, he's cost us points. He's cost us potential. We could have been defeated in both games. I don't care what that thing brought up. There's a message in the thing about at the near post it can easily go through your legs or something. I don't care. That gap. When you're a goalkeeper, you're taught to cover your near post. That was a real life FIFA glitch, and real Chris will know what I'm talking about. So that was a real life FIFA glitch.
My controller's on the floor of us going in and put champs or something.
Right, absolutely ridiculous.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's look at that. That's not even. My God, I mean,
he's 6'5" as well, man.
Look, it doesn't matter. He's not covering. Look at the gap. It's literally, the gap is so huge. But Martinelli couldn't miss. He couldn't miss. He made it so easy for him to score that was it. That he couldn't miss. He was supposed to cover that front post and make Martinelli have a second thoughts about shooting or crossing it in. Now, if they if he did the switch it, sweat the pass, I wouldn't have blamed Sanchez for it because he did what he needed to do. But this is my point. Diego put up 6 goals now, because remember that Kovacic's second goal, that was a disgrace. He got his hands and pushed it in. 2 goals against Brighton were down to him. He could have done better with the Curtis Jones second goal.
United
against Liverpool, he came out slow and also made himself smaller for some reason. The penalty last week, Højlund's going away from goal, comes out and taps him for no reason, and then today,
big up Scott.
Big up Scott. Today is just. I think he wanted to talk about this. I don't know. We left it so long, I think he's going on Lewis. So anyway, he is. I think he's the what. I'm going to 2 statements. He's the worst goalkeeper in the league for me. And I think you ready for this, Chris? You ready for this?
Boy. Let me give you a drum roll. Let me give you a drum roll. Let me give you a drum roll.
He's worse than Kepa.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
He might be. He actually might be. I honestly, like, I used to be confidently saying here, like, he's better than Kepa, but I don't remember Kepa even conceding at least 1 error a game.
Well, no, Kepa did do an error this weekend. Actually, if you've seen the Brentford goal, he went. Hang on, he went, hold up, just in case you. Did you forget who I was? Hold my beer.
This guy's really trying to hold on to his reputation.
Marshall backstage, me and Ahmed, we said he's no difference to Kepa, and I might be wrong. He might be worse, but like he's no improvement to Kepa for sure. Like when I saw this guy come in, no improvement, and like Andrew said, he's costing us like more on our defensive season by far.
Think about it, right? Because like Andrew,
even if you don't think he's worse than Kepa, I think they're the same level, and that's shit. That's the most.
And that's exactly right. And here's the thing: I'm so desperate at this point where I'm hoping, I am praying that maybe in January we can recall a loan and get another keeper back. Because if you're not going to trust Jurgensen, which I'll be honest, Jurgensen still hasn't really entrusted me with confidence either. If you have shit and shit, Fuck it. If the outcome is going to be the same, at least try the other one. Let's see if maybe he can boost up the confidence. Maybe he can bring something else to the table. But one more thing I wanted to point out, right? If you guys think about this, and this is the part that frustrates me, and this is the part that gives Andrew 100% like justification in what he said about the goalkeeper. If Sanchez doesn't make an error against United, we win that game 1-0. If Sanchez doesn't make an error today, we win this game 1-0. That's 6 points out of, we've got 2 out of it instead. And we would have been talking about coming out of this fixture with 9 points instead of the 7. And we would have,
we're 4.1
would have been ahead of City. Would have been second place.
Would have been better.
Those are the small margins, those differences. Because sometimes you got to win 1-0. You know, we can't always,
The Chelsea eye test says, thing is, if you cover near post, it opens up far. But no, but that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to cover the near post as a goalkeeper, so it doesn't have an easier angle. It's a harder angle hitting out the far, because you've got to get it spot on. But with this one, he left it so far that it was easy. It was basically a tapping. You get enough power on it, Sanchez can't react.
It was offside, JC. Yeah. Plus, if you look at this play, right, like Malo Gusto, I think, is actually expecting a cross, which is why he's diving.
Yeah, he ain't looking where Sanchez is. That's why.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like, we're not even saying, I don't think we're saying he should be glued on the goalpost, but he's made a big gap into that middle. That's an easy tapping, like Andrew said.
That's just negligence. Stupid negligence right there. And this is the guy.
You should never get beaten in their post. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Sanchez should never be beaten. It's poor goalkeeping, right? It's showing his points difference. I mean, the only good game he's ever had in a Chelsea shirt for me is the Bournemouth one.
Yeah.
The only that's an aberration. Yes, he pulls off saves here and there. But I'm not worried about his saves. It's decision making. It's bozo moments. Yeah. His saves he's a very good shot stopper. I don't judge goalkeepers on very good shots. You should be a good shot stopper. Why are you not? Why are you a goalkeeper?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's decisions like his decisions against Brighton, both goals, to run out and you're going to run out, fucking punch the ball and take the guy's head off with it at the same time. I mean, the second goal, he passes it, he does a hospital pass, and they make it 3-2. The Kovacic second goal for City, that wasn't even, it was high, but it wasn't a hard shot. It was easy to save. The Curtis Jones goal came off the line slow, but then made himself smaller.
Yeah.
He didn't spread himself like he should do, like most goalkeepers do.
You're supposed to do it,
Last week it's Man United. Højlund's going away from the goal. He's going away from the goal. There's no need for you to come out and tackle him whatsoever. Just ward him off. Make him go that way.
He did so well until he just reached his hand to his ankle and just grabbed it. I don't know why he did that.
He didn't need to dive in.
No, because he did. No, he showed him out, and I thought that was good. Then he dived on his ankle.
Just show him out. Just literally go.
I thought he did that well, and then he just fucked it.
No, but the problem.
That's Sanchez.
He will be the. I'll say this.
The liability.
He is our biggest weakness in this team by far. You can talk about the defense and that. Fine. I think the defense are really unsure about this guy. Do you know what I mean?
It's a bit like Kepa.
Yeah, it was, but at least Kepa had a decent first season with us.
Oh the first
saved penalties, saved a lot of penalties and stuff like that, and won the Europa League, stuff like that.
That's definitely.
So he's got that in his bank and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just think I think even some number 2 goalkeepers are better than our 2 goalkeepers. Like Kelleher, Liverpool, is better than our 2 goalkeepers.
The Man City one for sure.
Which is crazy. That's your second choice.
I think the Forest goalkeeper, the first choice, is better than our 2 goalkeepers. It showed it when we played them.
Yeah.
I think he's arguably one of the worst goalkeepers in this league. I think there's. I can't think of too many that are worse than him that come to mind. But I would take nearly every single goalkeeper, even like a Nana. I'd take
Onana over Maresca. Say him, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, yeah. I mean, it's listen, I don't rate Onana like that either, but he's definitely better than Sanchez, and that's the shocking.
Well. I think he's worse than. I don't rate these 2 goalkeepers at all. He's worse than Pickford and Ramsdale.
Ramsdale's
Yeah.
Hearing Ramsdale in that sentence. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't argue
I'm
it.
convinced.
I can't argue
I'm
that
convinced.
really.
I'm convinced if we swapped goalkeepers today, Raya doesn't leave his near post like that. Leaves it like
Oh
that.
my god, and we were linked with Ramsdale. Jesus Christ. We actually would have been better off if we had him.
I'm convinced David Raya, if we had him in goal today, he wouldn't have left his near post like that.
He's actually solid.
He's been great this season.
I wouldn't blame the goalkeeper if the guy shoots to the far corner because they've got the front post covered. That's all I care about.
Exactly.
That's their job.
Just make if he hits it far post, that means it's a bloody good strike to begin with. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
I think he's been better this season than last season. No, he hasn't. It's the ball. I'm telling you right now, it's the Bournemouth game's clouding everyone. That's an aberration. That game is an aberration. Whether he makes good saves or not, there's always 2 or 3 mistakes. It's just last season he wasn't punished as much as he was this season. Do you remember last season when he first started?
Last season was the whole circus show.
Everyone forgets. Look, even this season, that Liverpool game, where he gave the ball hit the pass right to Jota. And it was only because the pass was hard enough, it bounced right back to him. He is rubbish. Honestly, he's rubbish. Honestly. Rubbish. When we were into that Mudryk goalkeeper Lunin, I was like,
yeah.
Like,
even in today's game, even in today's game though with Sanchez and Chris, you remember this because I was reacting to this on the Discord. Like even for the cross claiming, there are some crosses coming in. I'm like, why didn't you catch that? Why are you just punching it out?
Free kick in the first half. Do you remember? Free kick in the first half.
Yep, that's the one I'm thinking about.
Yeah. I think
no one was near him. Even the Gary Neville.
He could have caught it.
Oh, even Gary Neville says, I can see Sanchez in the 6-yard area. He's obviously going to come out and catch it. Right? He went over to Sanchez and he punched it. Even I think it was even against City in the first. No, Palace. Remember Palace? I think when Eze shot, not the goal that went in, but there was another shot. It might be this, it might be someone else. But he went like that. And it just clipped his knuckles. So
yes.
Just went over the bar.
What
is he doing? What is that? He's a bozo.
I don't think I ever recall Sanchez really catching anything. I don't think he wants to or knows how to catch properly or has the confidence to come out and catch a ball. I actually don't think I remember him doing anything like that with Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
I just think I think he affects the defence in a negative way.
Yeah.
So much so that they're just unsure of themselves.
I actually rate rate most of our defenders. Like Reece James, solid player when he's fit, obviously.
Of course.
Kukureya, one of the best in 2024, I think, as a left back. Colwell is becoming, I think, a solid centre back.
More reliable. For sure. Yeah, for
sure.
sure.
I know Fofana's imperfect, but I don't think he's the worst centre back ever. It's just the keeper. It's just a complete bozo behind, and maybe just
right.
It doesn't give him most.
Then you get some of our fan base and even people we know going, yeah, we can get away with it. Nah, I'll tell you right now, there's no good team, past or present, done well with a mediocre goalkeeper. Just doesn't happen.
No, especially we have Chelsea fans in the fan base that want to say that we're going to challenge. We can challenge for a title. We're third. We're not that far off. Like, no. Listen, I literally just said it before. We dropped, because of Sanchez's errors, we could have been 9 points out of these last 4 matches since the last international break. Instead of we're 7. And those 9 points would have put us ahead of Man City.
Don't get rid of Alan, because he's not been abusive. But I've never seen him in this chat before. So unless it's to get reactions you probably got right now.
What did I say? That was wrong, Alan. What did I say that was wrong? I thought it was pretty. You like Sanchez?
Yeah.
Sanchez was
why haven't you got a shirt on your
It's a YouTube channel. What's he doing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not Tinder.
Why are we... So first of all, why are we plastic fans? What absolute rubbish are we talking about?
Yeah, I thought everyone didn't like Sanchez.
So as long as no one get rid of him, as long as he doesn't do an ism, that's fine.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
But leave him on
the Sanchez's burner account.
Subscribe and like that. Or even if you dislike the video, it doesn't really matter. It's part of the algorithm. But do that as well, Alan. If you're gonna be hearing do that. You know what I mean?
If you want to hate
Yeah.
It must be related to Sanchez. I can only think because you haven't seen. I haven't seen. We've discussed a lot tonight. I've not seen him pop up at all.
Captain America.
Yeah.
I mean, is that it? You don't like Captain America? I
That's
don't
a
understand
compliment, I think.
Compliment. Thank you very much.
Hey.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Alan, it's okay.
Captain
Alan.
America. Captain Britannica.
At least have the decency to keep a shirt on. That's all. No, I mean, it's all
Yeah.
right.
That's funny. Big up Alan, bro.
It might be Sanchez's burner account. You know?
It might be. You never know. Big up Alan. Appreciate being here, man. Brought us some entertainment.
This is go see you, Alan. Nice to see you.
Oh my days. I mean, did we? I think we pretty much covered everything. I don't know if we. I mean, there's not much to say on Nicholas Jackson. Didn't have much service today.
No.
I think he had a bad game. We talked about Nani. Lavia, we mentioned briefly. He was all right. Defensively, the center backs, I think Fofana had a good game. Levi Cole, we talked about briefly too, also had a solid performance. Don't think the center backs really are what cost us today. Definitely
Not at all.
defensive errors. I mean, partially, but I mean,
Well,
Cucurella was fantastic today.
I don't think
Obviously the best.
No, the centre backs didn't like. This is a near post goal. What got him that
Yeah.
goal? Where
Yeah,
Sanchez
for sure.
should be doing better.
Yeah, Malagusa was a little asleep on that play too, but I mean,
I
at
think-
the end of the
I
day,
think we've
it
got
is
to-
what it is.
I think we've got to. You know, Villa's going to be a tough game at home.
Yeah.
We've got I think we've got a decent to good record against Villa at home. I know we lost against them last year, but we did have Gusto sent off, if you remember, during that game as well. And I think we missed a few one-on-ones for that record. But we've got a good run of fixtures coming up. Do you know what I mean? In terms of
Yeah.
getting points
Oh,
on the
yeah.
board. Like, for me, Leicester and Southampton should be 3 points.
Easy.
I think for me, just personally, anytime we play Spurs should be 3 points.
Mhm.
Villa one, a tough game, but I think at home we should be beating them.
Yeah.
Fulham, even if it's away, I think Fulham's away. We should be. We
That's
should
probably
beat
gonna
them.
be a toughish game the way they're playing. Lately.
Everton. If Everton's away, our record at
Oof.
Everton is absolute rubbish. So I would worry about that one. And like Ipswich at home, we should beat them. So like by like the new year, we should be well within around the same. I'm looking to be in the same sort of position in terms of third or fourth or fifth or something like that, but well within the top
Yeah.
four race.
Yeah.
That we're not like, you know, it's not like oh shit, you know, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So
I mean, that reminds me because, you know, all that being said, before the international break, I remember, Surfer, you said 7 points would be ideal.
Yes.
To come out
Yeah.
of this with 7 points. Chris, did you
7
remember what
points,
you
yeah.
said? 7 points?
I
as
feel
well?
like it'd been around 7 because I
Yeah.
knew it was a tough fixture and it's not gonna be easy.
We got 5, right? And we're in third place. So, I mean, this will be the last question before we call it. I mean, Chris, we'll start with you. How do you feel about coming out of this with 5 points instead of the 7?
hang on. Hang on. But isn't it?
It's a family
Look
show.
at the irony. Look at the
Oh,
irony.
that's so funny.
Look at the irony. What's your language,
Oh,
Captain Bellend? That's my porno name.
I
by the
won't
way.
do casually.
so-
He needs to hop in.
That's my.
Casually
That's my.
couple-
That's
oh
my.
my God. I don't
I
trust a
want
man
to-
with a shirtless profile to
Yeah,
come
we
onto the
need to
call-in
watch.
show. I'll be honest with you.
Alan's obviously he's trolling. Or he's never been here before to say.
Nah,
it's
he
a
must be
family show.
trolling. It's hilarious.
It's not a family show, motherfucker.
It's
You know what I mean?
definitely
It's just-
not.
it's just
Still
what
a
it is.
very unfiltered show.
But Alan, thank you very much.
Big up.
Alan,
Big up. You made me laugh. But go ahead, Chris. 5
I
points
think,
out
I
of
think, I
what
think
we
other
predicted to
than
be
Man
7.
United result, because that result kind of annoyed me because we should have been walking
Obviously.
away 3 points.
Annoyed me
I'm
more
pretty,
than this
I'm
one.
I'm pretty good with like the way we played, and because I thought we played well in every game we played. Like Arsenal, I thought we played well today against Man United. We
That's
was
a
good,
freak.
but we just didn't put away more and more goal. And we, you know, Sanchez, the last 2 games against Man United and Arsenal, he's fucked us, I think. So,
Yeah.
But
Pause.
I think we've had a hard fixture, one of maybe the hardest fixture out of the top 4, top 6 maybe.
Mhm.
And we came well. Like we didn't really lose games. We just drew most of them except for that Liverpool game. But yeah, now we've got an easy run. I think this is where we just go on and get our points now. And
Well,
just,
I wouldn't say easy, but I mean, we do have
I mean,
more winnable fixtures.
the way
'Cause
we're
Aston
playing,
Villa's not going to be
the
easy.
way we're
I'm not gonna
playing,
lie.
they get
Mhm.
this performance they gave us the last 5 games still gives me confidence we'll do it.
No, I don't
next
think Villa will
5
be.
games.
I don't think Villa will be easy. I think we can still. I think we should still beat them at home.
Yeah.
We've got record rise. I think we got a very good record over Villa at home.
We do actually.
So the Spurs one, obviously, I joke and stuff like that, but jokey shit. It'd be difficult.
Can be dangerous.
It's away, but I still think we should beat them. Got a pretty good record at their new stadium as well. I think we've only lost once in once in the League Cup, something like that.
I think out of those games, we should come away with like, I don't know, 4 games at least. Like, I feel maybe.
I think if we come
10,
away with
10?
if we come away with 10 points at those next 4 games, I think everyone should be pretty 10 to 12 points. Obviously, everyone should be pretty pleased with themselves.
Our mission isn't to win a league this season. Our mission is to get top 4.
Top 4, exactly.
The pressure, like Arsenal's supposed to be contenders, and the way they're playing worse than us, I think, this season. So
right, and there's literally 3 or 4 points from. I think there's 4 points from 13th to 3rd.
Oh,
yeah,
it's so close.
It is.
Man United are on. Yeah, 4 points behind us, I think. So.
And Man City's got a hard run for them. The way they're playing is a hard run.
100%.
Yes.
They got some big games coming up.
I mean, they're going to play Liverpool soon, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be really tough for them. Easily. But, I mean, Andrew, I'll ask you the same question, too. 5 points out of what we predicted to be 7, out of a possible 12 in this 4 run of games that we had from the last international break. What do you think?
So I was I thought we would lose. I thought we would generally lose at Liverpool. I was optimistic maybe a draw against Liverpool, but I think the most disappointing point we picked up was because the way performed was against Man United. I think if we actually played what we should have done, because I don't think they asserted themselves on us or something like that. So we're sitting here with an extra 2 points. We're going into the break on 21 points. We are 7 points behind Liverpool, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's 2 points behind City. We're feeling good already. I think it's testament, because I tweeted out earlier. I think it's testament to how far we've come in nearly a year.
Yeah.
That while I am disappointed, obviously you didn't take all 3 points. This whole week I've not been mortified. I've done a lot of previews this week, and this time last year I didn't want to do previews.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hated previews, let alone reviews. I think we can see where we're going, or we got.
I am not a clown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got an idea where we're going, what Maresca wants to do. There are a few things that needs to iron up, as always. Goalkeeper.
There's criticisms.
Yeah, it's criticisms, but it's not over your shit. The real criticism is the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Petrovic was a better goalkeeper, yeah, but it's this whole thing about, we can't play out from the back. Neither can Sanchez properly.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I mean, now we got international break, ladies and gents. The content will still be rolling here on Casually FC. Do not worry. Hopefully, we come back like we just discussed. You know, there's potential for a good amount of points in this upcoming run of games. There's going to be a lot of games too, so they're going to be coming thick and fast.
Kick-off Leicester, first game back.
Yeah,
I think it's 12:30, as I remember the first.
Saturday, 12:30.
So you Americans, wake up early.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to wake up early for that one, unfortunately. Yeah, especially if they're in the West Coast. Big shout out to Curry Pirate. Curry Pirate, Peter, and all these other West Coast fans have to wake up so early for these games, which ridiculous. But I mean, I asked you guys in the poll in the chat who was your man of the match, and our winner came out to be Cucurella, which big up. I love this tweet that you retweeted, Chris. Player of the match by your old friend Gary Neville. If you guys remember, Gary Neville he was horrible. Last season, what did he say? He was horrible. He's like the worst player in that team or something.
And he used
Chelsea will never challenge. He's gonna be downfall for Chelsea. Yeah, I forgot.
No, for Spain. He said for Spain.
Oh yeah, for Spain too. Yeah, that's true.
And they won the Euros, and he just keeps winning.
That's true. Yeah, no. Like I said,
it's funny.
If Cucurella keeps up like this, he could potentially be in the conversation of being like that Aspie type of player.
Left back of the season too. the way he's going.
That too. There's still work to be done, but like for sure, he's on his way. I
don't think
would
there's
say.
many better. I gotta be honest with you, I don't think there's many better than him this season.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up for grabs. Robertson's he's
He's
not been the same player.
Don't let Judge Mo fool you when his criticism Cucurella. He's bang out of order when it comes to it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, he's been.
I'll
Cucurella's
tell him
been
on Wednesday
fantastic.
as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, show him that same one too. That same tweet. But yeah, ladies and gents, we're gonna wrap it up. I appreciate every single one of you coming on and smashing that like button. So big up to you guys in the chat. That one's a round of applause for you guys, and another round of applause for our panel, obviously. Listen, it is what it is. You can't win them all, but obviously this game was a lot more disappointing for Arsenal than it was for us. Obviously, we wanted to win, but Arsenal needed to win, and they failed to do so. And now, you know, their season's not looking very
They're in
good.
the top 4 race.
Yeah, they're in the top 4 race, pretty much.
top
So,
four.
sorry to say, Arsenal fans. I'm not, though. Not sorry to say that. But you guys already know what to do. Smash up the like button if you haven't done so already. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you also haven't done so. A lot of you guys showed up and supported, so big up to you guys for smashing the like button. But there's more of you out there that haven't done so, so help us out with the algorithm by smashing that like. Also, be sure to check out the links in the description below for Discord, Andrew, Winter Surfer's Twitter, my Twitter, all that fun stuff is down there. Comments down below. Let us know your thoughts on today's match. What do you think about what was said? What do you think the solution is going forward? When will Maresca beat a top 6 side? Go ahead and answer that down below in the comments. And last but not least,
that is one. Sorry, to interrupt you.
Go for it.
That is one thing that we need to. I don't. You can't even say the top 6, but I think we do need. It's important that we do beat Villa and Spurs,
yeah,
especially with them two like being around us.
yeah,
the top
yeah.
4 thing. I
Very
think
formidable
and also
sides.
we do need to beat one of the other top sides just to get that.
We have to.
Because
Mental,
we
yeah.
just have to, just to get that
Yeah.
mentally into that we are.
Yeah, get that mental hurdle out of the way.
Exactly, yeah. I mean,
And
it's
it
hard.
does give
It'd
the
be
team
hard.
confidence.
We got obviously Man United coming to our ground. We're Liverpool coming to our ground.
Do you
We're
count
going to
Tottenham?
City and Arsenal. Don't count Tottenham. They're a bit like the top 6, top 5 thing. No, what I'm saying is we need to beat
Yeah.
those. If we're not going to beat the top sides, we need to beat those around us going
Yeah.
for it. So
Definitely.
beating Villa and Spurs is a necessity to put a marker down and to take control of the
100%.
top 4 race. So
100%. Especially considering right now Tottenham on the table, ladies and gents, are in 10th place.
are we playing
bad.
Villa after European week as well? Then we come back, play Leicester, we play European game, and then we play Villa. Villa's on a Sunday, I think. Am I right?
Let me double check real quick.
Um,
Yes,
Villa's on the
we go to
third,
Conference League for Heidenheim.
Yeah, and I think they've
Heidenheim,
got.
and then we come back.
If you remember, after Champions League games, they haven't really performed well. Like they dropped
In
points.
the league, they've been struggling.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think they dropped points in every game they played.
I
I know they played. I know they played
Wow.
Liverpool, so that doesn't really count. But I think they got points to Brentford and
Villa are in 9th place. Shit.
United. Yeah,
The next
that's
big game is like January 25th.
And the last 3 games they've dropped points.
Definitely, yeah. They've been in bad
Draw
form.
and 2 losses. Yeah.
Mm.
Against, let me look at this too.
Liverpool-
Hey,
Liverpool-
not against the greatest teams either.
Tottenham beat them too, which is not a good result for them.
4-1, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
and
was
they
like a League
dropped
Cup,
points to
wasn't it?
Bournemouth too. Yeah,
Bournemouth. That's it. Bournemouth.
yeah. No, and Tottenham wasn't even in the League Cup; it was in the Premier League.
I mean, them losing to
You know, I'm talking
Liverpool
about they played
and
League Cup during the.
Oh
week.
yeah, it's true. Yeah, so I mean, I don't want to underestimate Villa. I know they're not in the best form,
They
but
have a good team.
we need to
Oh
step
no!
up.
Don't
We need to
underestimate them. Yeah, don't
100%.
Of course not.
Yeah,
we
definitely
should be, yeah.
have to show up for that one. If you guys haven't already seen as well, by the way, as I'm continuing the outro, raid message right down here. Be sure to copy and paste this because we are going to raid our friends over at Carefree Lewis, who is currently also reacting to the game, and he has his panels, which you guys already know are Rockstar panels. Be sure to copy and paste the message, let them know where you're coming from, and then last but not least, ladies and gents, we do have our memberships, which if you haven't done so already, check out the memberships. Big up to everyone who is a member, JC, and so on and so forth. And big up to everyone who is a proper casual member, because at the end of each stream we give our shout outs to our proper casuals, and that's going to go out to EE, Hassan Nawaz, Dark, Adrian, A. Soliman, Scott, Josh CFC, sorry, M3, Aiwani, Gabriel, and What. So actually, because I just said what.
All
right, that being said, ladies and gents, we'll be back again Wednesday. I have a pretty interesting guest for you guys. We'll be having a Chelsea Hour show again on Wednesday. I think Thursday will be the return of the Casually Chelsea show, which I am so sorry I've not been putting out that show. That's the bread and butter of this channel. So that'll be back on Thursday. I'll explain why on that show. But ladies and gents, as always, thank you so much for your support. Smash up the likes, subscribe. Go and copy and paste and let Carefree Lewis know where you're coming from with the raid message. And as always, have a wonderful night. Enjoy international break, and we'll see you soon. Stay casual. Peace.